Yo, yo, yo. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tuesday night program. Hopefully you guys all are having a fantastic Tuesday evening. Hopefully your Tuesday went well. We're coming at you live from the Nevada desert. As always, the dudes. Tension. Holy hell, it has been a minute. Yo, 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 son. How are you? It's been a minute since I've seen that name pop up.
Good to see you. Good to see you're back. Glad that you must have gotten our notification or something. So, because we just went live, everything's getting into position. But
Yeah.
glad to see that you're here, man. How's it been going from you? Anybody else in chat? How's your evening doing? Or I guess anywhere in the world. It might be morning for you. We are an international show, that's for sure. We're gonna have some people here that are gonna be watching, and it is gonna be their morning time. So we got to keep that in mind. I always do that. I struggle to do that, but it's crazy.
I always forget it too. I mean, I feel like it's one of those things. If you're tuned into the show, you're celebrating an evening with us, you know?
I guess so, yeah, because you're feeling our evening. You can feel an evening environment from our frequencies that we're
For
putting
sure.
out, you know what I mean?
I think a beautiful way to put it, GMM is really big into doing it, like their thing, because like their channel's Good Mythical Morning, and like they say the same thing. They're like, no matter where you're watching it from, even if you're watching a rerun of the show, like you're celebrating a mythical morning with them.
Okay, I get it. So is it because they do it in the morning? I've
Yeah.
always wondered what was the point of the name. So what's the idea of the name of that show?
So they're
Like, how did they come up with it?
I don't know.
It's an old show.
It's a super old show. Yeah, they used to have it's like a talk show that they did, and like I think the old title used to be called, it was a Good Morning Chia Lincoln. So essentially the idea of that show was that they had like a chia pet that they started growing, and they were gonna just do this show as long as the chia pet was alive. So it was like meant to be like a temporary thing, because they had always been like a skit channel, you know.
Right.
So they were like, oh, we'll do this talk show for as long as this.
Wait, hold on. So did they start out as a skit show?
Correct. Yes. Yeah. The heck was
Okay,
that?
because I feel like now they're like a morning show, you know? I think it was just the trash can.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So they started out as a skit show, and their skits were pretty decent. They had some like viral skits. They actually, and then they did commercials for people, like comedy commercials. They actually did a commercial for Roller Kingdom here in Reno. It's actually really funny.
They did?
Yeah. So I had
Oh,
seen.
I think you've actually showed that to me.
Yeah, I had seen this GMM video before I even lived in Reno, and didn't ever make the connection that it was filmed in Reno. And then I showed it to Julia one day, and she was like, "That's fucking Roller Kingdom." She's like, "That's like right down the street."
That's crazy.
And I was like, "Whoa!" And yeah, it's like years old, like 10 years old, and they came to Reno to film this commercial. Like Roller Kingdom paid GMM to come out to Reno to film this commercial.
Hipster on Roller Kingdom.
Yeah, exactly.
Good find early on, right?
Yeah. And then they turned into a talk show. They were basically like, we're going to do this show for as long as this chia pet's alive. And when the chia pet died, they like ended that show technically. They changed the title and everything, but the show had like gained so much popularity that they were like, we're going to continue it just under a different title.
Right.
Which is when they switched to Good Mythical Morning.
Man.
But yeah, I agree. The concept still kind of stands where like, that's like the big thing is like, they always address it as it's like, as morning, you know?
Right. Okay.
Like, and even if it's nighttime a week later and you're watching it, it's like you're still celebrating in the morning with them.
Right. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Did they post their things in the morning?
Yeah, at 3 o'clock in the morning, Pacific.
Okay, so 3 o'clock. Are they a Pacific show?
Yeah, they're LA based.
Okay, so I mean, I guess they do that because they think that like we want East Coast to have morning with us.
Oh, possibly. I guess I didn't really think about that. Yeah, it's very obviously like a scheduled upload.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would make sense. 6 a.m. Eastern. I just know that I used to wake up for like to leave for work in the mornings, and the show would like drop an hour before I took off for work.
Nice. So it's getting to you in the morning. So you watch it every
I
morning.
would watch it on my commute. Yeah.
That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah.
I have some great shows that I watch. And I have some shows on I pretty much watch most of my stuff on YouTube, but I watch some shows that I watch in the morning. There's definitely like certain channels that I have where they're my morning channels.
Yeah.
Channels that are more evening channels, channels that are day channels that I could just like listen to in my headphones and not look at, you know what I mean?
For sure, yeah.
I think that's the way I would describe it, is like there's ones that I can listen to in my headphones, and then the stuff that I listen to in the evening, it's like stuff that I actually maybe I want to look at, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I have stuff that I watch in the evening, stuff that I watch in the daytime, stuff that I watch in the morning, and it's different channels.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I tend to like lead towards like scary content in the evenings.
Scary content.
Yeah, I'm
evenings, dude,
like a
to help you go to bed.
yeah. I'm like
Doesn't that
one of
keep
those
you up?
psychos. No,
It's gotta keep you up.
no, it doesn't keep me up.
Really?
Yeah, I have frequent like night terrors that Julia claims are associated to the scary videos before bed. But
I mean, maybe, but
even when I don't watch them, I have night terrors. So I think that like it's like cathartic in a sense, you know?
yeah.
Like, so I'm gonna continue to watch my spooky shit before bed. I'll be all right.
Man, well, you know, I've never had like night terrors. My sister had night terrors one time because when she was young, I didn't really recognize this. So she was young. She's 10 years younger than me, and I was watching that James Franco movie, 127 Hours.
Yeah.
Where the guy has to cut off his arm, and so there's a lot of blood in that scene, and there's like some stuff, and she was kind of watching it behind me while I was watching it. Like I was watching it, and she was catching glimpses of it, and I guess I wasn't a responsible big brother. She was maybe only like 7 or something at the time, maybe 6 or something. I guess she would have been like 6 or something. And after watching that movies for like months afterwards, she would have night terrors, waking up screaming, "There's blood everywhere,
Oh,
blood,
geez.
blood," and you can pretty much directly associate that with the movie, and I got blamed for it, and it was a big problem. But
Damn.
so I mean, that was because of media content, like media consumption, definitely.
Yeah.
Like there was. Now she was like, let's be honest here. Like, I mean, like, my mom could be mad at me, but it's like she just watched a movie, and like I was maybe like not very empathetic at the time about it. I was like, it's just a movie, you know what I mean? But I think growing up now, I'm like a little bit more empathetic, but also it's like, hey, it was just a movie. It's not like she actually saw something real, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, there's a bit of privilege there with your night terrors, but I mean, it's a thing, and it definitely can happen because of entertainment consumption.
I agree. Yeah.
But maybe it could be
totally
something
can.
else too. Maybe you've had night terrors for longer than starting to watch scary stuff. Although I would say that I think like just kind of knowing you for a bit, I think you've always kind of had that like sort of like edge towards anxiety, like pushing yourself
Yeah.
into anxiety. I feel like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like there's definitely, even in high school, I feel like you kind of turned at nighttime, your brain frequency would get into the strange, dark, and mysterious, you know what I mean?
I agree.
The world of the high strangeness,
Yeah.
the like trying to look into things that are as real as the air around us that we can breathe and feel,
Yeah.
but can't see. It's not there. It's invisible.
Taco said, haven't we talked about this night terror stuff before? Did I tell you guys the fucking scary ones I had for a while? Yeah, so I remember Danny briefly saying that he used to have sleep paralysis.
So we can definitely
That's what it was,
We
yeah.
can definitely get into it again. If we've gotten into it before, there's no reason why we can't go
I
over
have
this
no
ground
issues
again.
getting into it again, yeah.
This is important ground to go over. And it's ground that people don't talk about enough.
Yeah.
Because of cognitive dissonance. It's one of those things where I talk about cognitive dissonance all the time. And as soon as I start talking about cognitive dissonance, everybody's eyes glaze over, and it's literally cognitive dissonance.
Hey, Tension, thank you for the Prime sub, dude.
dude.
Thank you, man.
Mega, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it. You've been missing out on a lot too, Tension. We've been hitting so many milk and whiskeys recently, brother, and I wish you I shout you out frequently.
Yeah, it's actually true.
Yeah. But we've been hitting an ungodly amount of them as of late.
It's definitely our most like
The most requested
it's
thing.
the viewers love that.
Yeah,
the most.
it's replaced Shot or Scam for sure.
As
like
the
Shot or
most, like,
Scam.
Shot or Scam and Milk and Whiskey are the two most.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one takes the
I think
cake,
Milk and Whiskey gets redeemed more than Shot or Scam.
but
does at this
they're
point.
definitely the two fan favorites.
Yeah. There's like still a few OGs that'll drop in a Shot or Scam that like know what's up, but like a lot of the new people immediately are like Milk and Whiskey, click.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's disgusting.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a thing.
It shouldn't, but it still is.
It's working out, man. People love it.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean. What are you gonna do, dude?
I guess.
What are you gonna do if you're gonna stream, dude? You got to be a little bit of a.
You got to give the
You gotta
fans
show
what they want.
skin. You gotta show skin.
Yeah. You got to give the fans what they want. There's a clip, attention if you have TikTok. There's literally like our last Milk and Whiskey, I believe, is on TikTok. Absolutely disgusting. But yeah, so taco, that's one thing I've never had taco. Oh, I'll correct myself. I've had it once where I've had sleep paralysis. And sleep paralysis, like especially compared to like night terrors, sleep paralysis is horrible. Like I feel like night terrors aren't that. I guess it depends on the degree to which you have them, right? Because like, I would say like what I have would be I would say it's like more than like nightmares, like to the point where like I'll be like physically doing things in my sleep, like you know what I mean, like stuff will be happening in my dreams and I'll be physically doing it in my sleep, and then I'll wake up like profusely sweating, hyperventilating.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But what do you mean by
Extremely.
physically? When you say physically doing it, it makes you sound like you're getting up and sleepwalking around.
Not to the sense where I'm like sleepwalking, but like I'll
so
like
you're not-
grab things or hit things.
What do you mean grab things?
Like grab my own, like grab my hands and like yank on stuff, like, or like squeeze myself, you know? Like same thing, I had to go to the
Squeezing
dentist.
yourself?
Yeah, like I'll just like squeeze like my arms.
Yeah.
Like I had to go to the dentist for a while because I was like grinding my teeth down in my sleep.
Yeah.
And I had to sleep with a mouth guard for a while. I'm still supposed
Yeah.
to, but I don't.
I do that. I actually grind my teeth too. Right?
Yeah.
Actually, Naomi notices it, and I actually do it like.
Jesus fucking Christ. Eva! That was a culmination of just wildness. The jump scare happened. We're talking about spookies. Ava starts barking immediately, running at the front door.
But as I fall asleep, I'm doing it. So I'll be like half awake and half asleep, and she's like, "Hey, you're grinding your teeth."
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm not. And then I'm realizing like my jaw is like clenched up like
Yeah.
crazy. Maybe that's because of stress. I don't know what that is, honestly.
Could
I
be
mean,
'cause
it's
of
not
stress,
just
yeah.
stress, but like I think sometimes maybe it like exacerbates it for me,
Yeah.
but maybe not. Maybe it's just a genetic thing too. Yeah, maybe I should wear a mouth guard too. I'm not looking
Yeah.
at it.
I was supposed to. It's not comfortable though. It fucks with my sleep really bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
maybe like a really non-invasive one.
I
There's
got a
non-invasive stuff.
super thin non-invasive
or
one, and it
stuff
just
that
still
just
fucked
makes
with me.
it so that you I don't know. I gotta look into all that.
Yeah. I wore it for a while, and then like I would start like thinking that I was choking in my sleep. Just because there was something in my mouth.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? So then I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna stop wearing it. But I think I've been
Anyways.
grinding my teeth less, but
Well, anyways.
yeah.
All right. So, I don't know how much Taco Man you want to talk about it, but if you want to give some stories into it, basically, with the story that we're talking about here is an experience of what's known as sleep paralysis, right? And what really is sleep paralysis? You know, there's the medical version of it. Some scientists say, oh, you know, well, we think this is probably what it is. You know, we don't really know. Sleep is weird. We don't really understand sleep. Still, to this point, we don't understand sleep. And then there's other people who just say what they experience, you know. And when you hear some of these experiences of people, and people that are honest about it, and they actually explain, like, hey, I know this is going to be crazy, and I know this is not how the world works, but this is actually what I experienced, and I'm not afraid. I'm brave enough to actually say how I actually felt and what I actually saw during my experience. Not what, oh, I saw something, and then what I want people, like what people would want me to make a logical conclusion out of. Like, I saw something, but clearly people, like, the way the world looks at this situation is like there must be some sort of logical conclusion, so I'm gonna lie about what I experienced to sort of fit in. You know what I mean? That's what cognitive dissonance does, and we trick ourselves very easily into lying about it. And whenever I talk about cognitive dissonance, I always see people just like completely like, oh, I'm just not even gonna listen to anything he's saying from now on. It's like they glaze over, and it's like that is what cognitive dissonance is.
I was gonna say that's like the definition of cognitive dissonance.
It's like it's when it's something doesn't fit in, when I'm about to tell you something that doesn't fit into your your matrix or the way you see
narrative,
the way you view the world is the way your world view, and when it doesn't fit in, it's almost as if like you completely forget it existed. It's like it's neglected, it's seen as redundant, it's seen as not necessary, and you can easily just like say like, oh, it's not even real.
Yeah.
But what's so scary is so many of us humans have every one of us have our own unique experience, and we've all seen crazy things. And if you actually were brave enough, and we were all brave enough to come with our honest, authentic experiences, and we said, here are some of my authentic stories that can't be explained, and then Jalen tells some of his authentic stories that can't be explained, and then Taco Man, and then Choppa Lock, and Tension tells some stories. We all start telling some stories, and then we start realizing, oh, wait a second, this world that the narrative and that our greater like the greater good has decided, like, everything's nothing to see here, folks. Everything's normal. We know everything that needs to be known already. You know what I mean? Like, once we actually start telling our individual stories and we're brave enough to actually say what really happens, you start to realize, oh, that like status quo narrative is actually the absurd one. Because like the world that we're living in, from your experience and my experiences and all of our experiences together, I mean, every single time you add another person, another experiencer, the world gets more novel and wild and wacky and unexplainable, and it destroys that status quo narrative. It destroys that thing that, like, just step in line. There's nothing to see here. Everything that's already need to be known is known. You know what I mean? It's like, no, dude. This world is weird and it's changing and none of it makes sense, and it's all like no one really knows. No one really knows.
Yeah, and I feel like cognitive dissonance really does come into, like, when we're talking about things that are like paranormal, especially. Like, you'll have people that don't believe in paranormal stuff, but then see whether it's like a shape or some sort of being that's like a not well-known, but like a well talked about
thing that other people have seen too.
Something that other people have experienced themselves. Exactly. And they'll experience that. And then all of a sudden, like, well, nope, that's not real, because it, like you said, it doesn't fit my narrative. Even though there's 150 reports online, it's trash, boo. Yeah, sorry. Even though there's 150 other people online that have seen the exact same thing as me, I personally don't believe in it, and you know, so I'm just gonna completely I'm gonna disregard it and say that that it wasn't real.
Yeah, I mean, people will discredit their own, like the same people that are so confident, like really especially people that take themselves seriously. You know what I mean? They're like, I take myself very seriously. I'm a great, and if they observe something, if they were at a traffic light and an accident happened, they would go up to the cops and they'd be like, take my witness.
Yeah.
I am a good witness. You know what I mean? I am a serious person. I am a sober person. I am a humble person. Take me as a good witness, right? That same person will see something wild, wacky, and waning, strangeness, and then go, I must have been hallucinating.
Yeah.
I must have been crazy.
It must have been fake. Yeah.
Because they want to. It's honestly out of fear.
It is. Yeah.
Those people are also people who get really good grades, and they get good grades not because what I learned from I did a lot in college, like helping students, and what I learned about students, not to say that like you have to have good IQ, obviously, but the students who have good grades, it has less to do with IQ and more. They all were so afraid. They were all the people who had the best grades were the students that were really afraid of getting bad grades or getting in trouble.
Yep.
The more afraid you were, the better grades you were going to get. So like they're a certain type of personality that like to sort of like follow, like they like to please like a certain like their authority. They like to follow the rules. You know what I mean? It's more about following rules than IQ. I honestly believe that.
Yeah.
From what I experienced in college and helping students.
I would agree with that.
So those same people who take themselves really seriously, they care more about following rules than actually just being authentic and brave about what they actually see. I mean, it's so crazy. Just look up. Just look up and you'll see some crazy things.
Yeah.
Just start looking up. That's all I'm saying. And be honest and brave. If you've experienced something in the past that you went, Oh, you know what, dude? I had a weird experience. And you know what? Like, I've been sort of repressing that. And, like, me and my friend both saw it, but we never talked about it,
Yeah.
ever afterwards. And, like, that's kind of strange that we never talked about it. But, like, he never mentioned it and I never mentioned it. And honestly, like, for the longest time, I just, like, kind of forgot about it. It's like, no, start being brave. Start talking about that. Start telling people about that. And when other people come up, like, the worst one is that when you have one of those repressed feelings and then you go, I'm never going to tell someone, and then someone comes and talks to you about it or talks to somebody else about it, and then you don't second that person's crazy opinion and you just stay silent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the problem. That's essentially gaslighting.
For sure, yeah. Taco said y'all got to try DMT if you want to experience that. We were talking about like the shared experiences thing. That's another big one where people claim that they all see essentially the exact same thing.
Yeah,
The
shared
argument,
hallucinations. I don't know how I feel about that.
yeah, those ones are weird.
We could watch it great and we don't have to watch it, but like I'll link it sometime in the Discord, but there's an illusion video where he talks about going to a Grateful Dead concert and taking the Grateful Dead acid, and then him and his friend saw, because the Dead concert was here and then there was a Navy base right next to the Dead concert, and there was a fence line, right? And what he said is that him and his friend were both group hallucinating, seeing like
I
little like
remember you talking about
beings
this, yeah.
boogieing through the fence line
Yeah.
into the Grateful
And
Dead
both
concert.
independently saw it.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, man, do you see this, man?" And he's like, "I did see it, dude. Whoa."
Yeah, that's wild.
So I don't know. What do you guys think about group hallucinations? I've never hallucinated before, so like my general like, I immediately just want to go like, "There's no way," but I don't know, maybe.
I feel like it's one of those things.
It's
Well, let's see,
opening it up to a
Tacos-
frequency. It's
Yeah.
opening your brain up to a frequency. So like,
Yeah, that I would say that's probably what it is. Taco said the argument is that this was a bit earlier, but it relates. The argument is always that you only saw that because you were subconsciously influenced by what other people described.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, I could totally see that as an argument.
Then Choppa had a good quote. He said, "He who takes himself seriously is a dork." That's what an ancient philosopher once said. I mean,
Sounds like Chinese wisdom.
yeah, I do agree with that though. Like, it was exactly what you're saying. The people that take themselves seriously are always the people who are like the quickest to disregard the shit that they're seeing like right in front of their eyes. Then Taco and Chop started getting a bit political. I'll skip that part.
What the hell? Chupa, back me up.
But no, so what I was saying, because we were talking about shared hallucinations. This isn't like a shared hallucination, but it's almost like a shared experience. It kind of falls into the same line. Like I remember one time, I can't remember. I feel like it was in this apartment, but it could have been in the last apartment. I don't know. But I remember one night I was sleeping and woke up and was like having like a really like weird nightmare. And I woke up and Julia was still sleeping and then also woke up, and like we had like this essentially the same dream.
Whoa.
Like we were both dreaming about like the same thing.
So what was the dream?
I couldn't remember to fucking save the life of me, but it wasn't like about it wasn't about anything that like had happened that day. You know what I mean? It's not like we both like went to the movies and then like had a dream about that movie. It was like unrelated.
Yeah.
It was very odd, but it was kind of one of those like shared hallucination almost, you know?
I've always thought about this, and we can get into this maybe deeply. Like I need to start doing a little bit more homework into it, but like there's a very famous and some recent stories came up recently about him on Twitter, and I was kind of getting into it, and I was getting some likes and found some cool UFO Twitter channels. But anyways, we were talking about. I brought up there is a very famous Harvard professor in the 1990s, early 2000s, maybe only in the 90s, named John Mack, Dr. John Mack from Harvard, and he was in psychiatry. And sort of like what he became famous for, and he wrote a few books on, was what he basically described as the abduction phenomenon or the abduction syndrome. He ended up even calling it a syndrome, being in psychiatry, right? And so he's not really sure what's going on, but what he was able to document very well, and like, you know, he knows the stuff, and he knew how to like document it all, and he had thousands and thousands and thousands of these cases where, and it's not like just him. This is a well-known thing that was going on, like when he's writing in the 1990s of the abduction phenomenon. These are people who are being like, they're sleeping at night, and then they're sort of like waking, but are they awake? That's what he was really unsure of. But they're being awoken in some sort of sense, whether it's actually physically awoken or they're just in some sort of weird dream state. It's really hazy what's going on because you don't really understand what's going on. But these people all describe waking up in the middle of the night with beings in their room. And then you know, sort of like interacting with these beings, almost always interacting with them in the sense of like, there's not actually any language going on, right? It's more so that like they're able to just read your mind in the same way that like, I mean, we've all dreamed, you know. It's weird how like dreams, like there's so much of the dreamscape and the dream world and the path that the dream takes that literally has to do with just like your mind. Not even you talking to the people, but as soon as you start thinking something,
things that you're just interpreting.
The people that as soon as you start thinking away, the people that are interacting in your world start oh, he's thinking this way. You know what I mean? They can read your mind. You know what I mean? It's that sort of feeling of like that sort of like thought speak or mind speak, where you're sort of reading each other's minds. Where I'm able to say to you like it's okay, but I'm not saying anything. And then you're thinking back to me, I'm afraid. And then I say, I just give you that feeling of don't be afraid. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Without having to say any words. It's just like that thought is put into your head. All these people are talking about this in this abduction experience. You know, this is how these beings interact with you. And it's a super famous phenomenon. And he was going around talking with a bunch of different people. But what is going on here? It seems he was sort of questioning. He's like, I don't know if this is physically happening or if this is something that's happening in like what if, like, crazy idea, just putting them together. This is crazy late night thoughts. Like, what if sort of like that dream world, what if they were able to sort of tap into that dream world? And what if they could sort of like interact with you on that dream world? One of my favorite things is like me saying that, like,
what if aliens were able to? Is that what you're saying?
Whatever you want to call them. I don't know.
Some sort
aliens,
of supernatural beings,
gods, these things that come to us, these beings that come to us in the night, these overlord, these things that can sort of read our minds or know what we're thinking. You know what I mean? That are sort of like, or maybe even sometimes know what we're thinking, but know what we were thinking weeks ago. And it was something that was really on our mind, and they coming to us, oh, this is on your mind. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
How do dreams work, and how do dreams affect us, and how are dreams like hit us more real while at the same time being like completely, absolutely ridiculous? What if that sort of like dream world and these sort of beings are somehow interrelated? I've always wondered with the idea, you hear this all the time with inventions. Oh, I came up, some people just say like, I didn't come up with that. I have no idea how I came up with it. Or like, you know, it was given to me.
Yeah.
Or like I had it in a dream, you know what I mean? Or like from drug trips and stuff like this. But oftentimes it's that muse-like character, some sort of like otherly being, you know, like a muse is coming in and giving him the idea. What if the dream world has something to do with like, or rather, this idea of all these aliens are really something that's like coming through to us in the dream world.
Yeah.
What is the point of dreams? I mean, it's crazy that we dream.
I agree with that. It is crazy, but I guess we're not the only like beings that dream. You know,
sure.
Like, well, I mean, like dogs. Right? It's like, don't most people theorize that dogs pretty much dream? Like,
yeah, I think like most mammals dream. I think.
Or
at least a lot of them.
Well, because like same thing.
They're
like,
even saying that maybe ants dream on some sort of really small level. I think I remember reading an article about that like a couple years ago, that they think maybe ants dream now.
Yeah, I was gonna say because especially with like dogs, that one's like seems like a pretty apparent one, because like you like dogs oftentimes will run and bark in their sleep. You know what I mean? So you'd only have to like imagine that that's some sort of like dream that's happening where they're probably tapping into their primordial ancestry, you know, running along the plains, freaking hunting stuff.
I'm just saying wacky things, you know. I'm saying wacky things to say wacky things.
Yeah, I do like the wacky stuff.
Taco Man, you ever gonna give us your dream story, man?
Yeah.
All right, where should we go from here?
It doesn't matter. Taco did say that. He said, "You not talking about political stuff is your fear and conformity taking over." Just for the record. No, we used to talk about political stuff all the time, and then people hate it. And then when we don't talk about political stuff, people want us to talk about political stuff. It's a fine line you got to toe, you know? It's a fine line out there. But yeah, no, we can get into whatever you want next. We can watch this. He said we already talked about my dream last time.
No, but there's we could always talk about it again, because like re-elucidate on it and retouch on it and cover stones that maybe there's some stones unturned still that could actually open up. Like we have to now think about it. We're completely new individuals. We've talked about things. We've learned new things. I've watched new things, read new things. And then I've talked about some of them too. So you've heard some of these new things, right? So like, upon learning new things, re-going over the story, it's a new, in a dialectical sense, it's new, it's different. Maybe you will realize something from your story that you've never realized before as you're retelling it. You know what I mean? You might turn
unlock a new memory.
I also have a great video, dude, since we're on sort of like, and I would like to get dark and, how do I say it? I would like to stay spooky, but I have like it's somewhat like a conspiracy video too to watch. But I think if we can stay spookier for longer, we can stay spookier for longer. But then at some point I have a great conspiracy video to follow up after that.
I mean, we can get into the conspiracy. It doesn't matter to me.
All right. If you want, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
Oh, dude, I love to watch cave stuff too.
Yeah, cave stuff freaks me out.
Okay, so
did you ever watch that story that me and Chop were talking about? Is it Tim the Caver or whatever?
Oh, the copy pasta. I think I looked a little bit into
Ted
it.
the Caver.
Yeah, we could definitely get into it.
That's like a long one though. It's this video. It's fucking 2 hours long.
Oh wow.
Like, yeah. Anybody I'll link it in the Discord.
Was that Muhammars? We can watch his version of it. It's 50. It'll take 50 minutes. That'll take us like.
Fuck that guy.
Why do you say F that guy?
I don't want to listen to his commentary.
He had a tweet. No, he had a tweet that popped off yesterday or today.
Did he?
Yeah. Oh, he just did that YouTube video like 2 days ago.
Oh, whoa.
I feel like that YouTube video was old.
Ted the Caver's old. It's 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay, hold on.
But yeah, no, we don't have to get into Ted the Caver. It's just I just didn't know if you'd ever watched it. I linked it in the Discord though. If anybody wants to check it out, it's well worth it. I watched it one day or listened to it one day at work, and that's like the quickest 2 hour listen you'll ever have. It felt like 30 minutes, like my heart was racing the entire time. It was wild. But
ghost hunting full? The Caver pasta is like 20 years old.
Yeah, the YouTube video we're talking about is 2 years old. The copy pasta is probably 4 years old. What's the video though, Austin?
Oh, okay. So it's gonna be like, how do you find it? So type in. I don't even know if you'll be able to find it on YouTube straight up, but like type in Iraqi fruit. Yeah, fruit market bombing. Scroll down. There's a kind of a controversial YouTube video maker that okay, we'll just go to it because it's not going to be able to find it. I mean, you could find it online, but we'll find it on YouTube. Type in go all the way back and just type in Robert. Yeah, top result. And it's his most recent video. So I watched the first half of this video. I watched a link for it. This guy's somewhat controversial. Some of his videos are actually kind of cool, but then sometimes he goes way out there. But anyways, okay, so watch the first part of it. We're gonna have to listen to some of his commentary, just because I couldn't find the other video, like the actual full video. But good video though, good video. So here we go. Watch this video and just kind of check it out. Honestly, his commentary will be perfect because he'll explain it better than I did.
Okay, let's see.
National news agency. According to the international news agency Reuters, a car bomb parked in a street.
Choppa, I hope you're here. Taco, I hope you're here. Watch this stuff.
District of Baghdad killed at least 8 people and wounded 30 more on October 30, 2016. The news story was mirrored by the New York Times that reported on Iraqi police claims of a car bomb exploding, this time killing 10 people and wounding 34 innocent bystanders. An Associated Press photographer also published 4 images of the site of the incident, describing it as, quote, the aftermath of a deadly car bomb explosion that hit a popular fruit and vegetable market in a commercial street in Baghdad's northwestern neighborhood of Hurriya. These photos were then disseminated and broadcast by a wide variety of mainstream media outlets to refer to the car bombing and the subsequent collateral damage. Security camera footage that emerged 3 days later pointed a fundamentally different picture. The story starts with a man hunched over what appears to be an abandoned car and then hastily makes his way over to a parked truck that he then enters and drives away in. About 15 or 20 seconds later, after the truck exited the scene, we see a massive explosion with smoke, fire, and debris flying everywhere. Within several seconds of the detonation, about a dozen people enter the screen from the left, running and immediately falling on the ground, pretending to be casualties of the explosion. There are
Wait, what? wait a second. What?
Let's keep watching, dude. Just keep watching, dude. This is now. Remember, this is where all the terrorism's happening, and this is where we're going to war and we're fighting and spending billions of dollars. Anyway, just keep watching.
1 second.
Oh, we got some text.
Yeah, Taka said, "Is this IRL or creepypasta?" This is
this
IRL.
one's IRL.
Yeah. Court called me over and said I was summoned. She was on my computer while stream was running. Hopefully she was enjoying the stream.
accompanied by what appear to be concerned citizens flagging over a paramedics van, which then starts to load the alleged victims of the blast in for medical treatment. Some people barely able to move, and others pretending to be dead.
What?
One man is waving his hands in shock and panic, calling for help and assistance, as others rush in, seemingly putting themselves at risk in order to save lives from this vicious attack. The victims were running just moments ago from a safe distance away, yet now cannot walk or move and are dragged into the waiting ambulance by medical personnel to receive treatment or to be taken to the morgue.
No
What
fucking
we are
way.
witnessing is clear video evidence of a false flag operation, an act committed with the intent of disguising the actual source of responsibility and pinning blame on another party. The term false flag originated in the 16th century as an expression meaning an intentional misrepresentation of someone's allegiance, and has been used for centuries to sway public opinion, usually to incite outrage and justify military retaliation or invasion. In the 15th...
So that was pretty much it.
So how did they not, like, there's a camera right there.
Yeah, that was the mess up.
That's
So there was a surveillance camera that was caught. So we can go into, if there's a specific there's a website. If you just type in what I told you to type in originally, but you type it into Google,
Yeah.
it'll take us to the website that kind of clearly goes into all this and goes a little bit more deeper, and we can scroll through to it, and it'll kind of elucidate on kind of what the hell is going on and why this happened, and sort of why it's happening. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
who's benefiting from it? What's the reasoning?
Because one thing I was going to say, like when these pictures first came up, is I was like, weird, this seems kind of like a small explosion.
For 8 people to die?
Well, it said like 10, right?
Yeah.
10
well,
and
at
then
first it
30.
was 8, and then it was 10. And
then 30
to 40
injuries.
injuries, yeah.
So, I mean, you're talking 40 total casualties. And I looked, I was like, this is kind of like that guy's probably, let's just say average height, 5'10". It's like
yeah.
5 foot radius. Like after they moved the car, I was like thinking like that looks kind of small. There's no like structural damage really to the wall behind it. Like it seemed kind of weird. And then you can see in this video, like it's not really an explosion.
No.
It's like
I mean, it is it's a car bomb.
it's a small explosion.
It's a car bomb with no one around it.
But
There's
the
not a
thing
single
is,
soul in
the
here.
thing is though, like a lot of like car bombs go like boom out. This is like it like essentially just combusts. It like looks like, have you ever seen a video of like thermite lighting on fire? I'm not saying they use thermite here, obviously, but like it's a lot more like combustion agent than explosive agent. It seems like watch, like it doesn't really send up a cloud of smoke
with smoke.
I mean, okay, it's
fire,
but like
debris.
look at the fire coming out of it. That's my big point. Is like it's not like a big like boom. It's like a small little boom and then just a ton of fire coming out of it, which seems really weird.
Flying
It's
everywhere.
definitely like some sort of improvised something, right? Like it's
Within
not a, like
several
a
seconds
proper
of the detonations,
American
about a
style.
dozen people enter the screen from the left.
And so what I thought happened, like what I was thinking happened, was that I was like, okay, they blow this up and then these people start running down the street and then somebody shot them. That's what I was thinking happened. Because these people were running and then these two people
Yeah.
at the back drop.
Right.
And I was like, oh, like is it like a
No.
ambush?
Several seconds of
Then
the
I started
detonation,
realizing like,
about a dozen people enter the screen from the
They're
left.
all
getting played.
Running
middle-aged
and
men.
immediately
Not a single
falling on
woman
the
or
ground,
child.
yeah,
pretending to be casualties of the explosion.
it's so wild.
So why would I say that? Why would I say why is
accompanied-
it that they're all middle-aged men and there's no women or children? Like what do you think like is the implication that I'm trying to make?
I have no clue.
Is that all these middle-aged men are probably being paid. They
Yeah.
work, right? Middle-aged men work.
Yeah.
Women and children don't get paid to do this stuff, right? These are working actors.
Okay.
These are
I get what you're saying,
crisis
yeah.
actors.
Yeah.
So this is a crisis actor team. Okay, so these are all paid men, military men, mafia men, whatever you want to call them, but they're paid crisis actors, and they know what they've done this before. They're gonna do it again. There's an ambulance team. There's dudes who fall. There's other dudes who then pretend to pick them up. They all have it down. Some of the dudes that fall and then get put in the ambulance stand up in the ambulance, then get out and then pick up some other dudes and
See,
put them in the
that's
ambulance.
the thing too, is like
They're paid actors. It's very
hey, Taco, thank you for resubbing the Prime. We appreciate it, big dog. That's the crazy thing too, is like even if they would have faked it better, like, bro, the ambulance is there.
you don't. Yeah.
The ambulance is sitting right, like the people and the ambulance were right next to each other.
Well, because they have to get all the dead people that are clearly not dead. They have to get them out of the scene as
Yeah.
quick as possible
Yeah.
before anybody saw what happened.
Yeah, it's just like why? Like, imagine like even if you were there,
If there was
and
no
you
camera, though.
well, like imagine if you were there though, like if you lived down the block,
Yeah.
and then you just hear boom, and then you look outside and the ambulance comes, whoop, and it's right there. Like that would have been. I feel like that would have just seemed weird.
Yeah, but you know what? It seemed weirder. Seeing people that are supposed to be dead, and then you're seeing them
Walking
get
around.
up later. You know what I mean? So it's better that the ambulance, boom, you don't go outside because you just heard a boom. So you're not going to look.
Yeah.
You're going to stay down. And then you hear ambulance coming, and you're like, okay, that is kind of weird. But I see a bunch of people frantically saying, oh my God, this is horrible. This is horrible. With
Yeah.
fake blood on them, and they're getting away. And you don't want to go towards that. And so they clean up the situation before anybody's really able to kind of start really looking at him and
For
being
sure,
like,
yeah.
wait, is this guy dead? He's breathing. You know,
Yeah.
you clean it up real quickly. But the point is that these dudes are paid, and that this is an organized event, right?
Yeah, I agree with that. So wait, what? You said to go to?
Just type in Iraqi Iraqi fruit market bombing. It's Farima, but it should come up. Okay, so
I love that these like articles are still up.
yeah. Type in 2016, I guess. So there's like a crazy video. I mean, I gotta go look at it, but there's like a specific one that like explains what happened.
Taka said, so are we saying this was like the work of Jihad Illuminati or what? I mean, it's got to be the work of, I don't
Okay.
know anything about it, but Austin seems to know more about it than I do, but it had to have been the work by some, whether it was the government or some group that was financing this. Like you can see from the security footage that's like very clear.
It's on general. So so we're gonna get into this website, and it's going to not only explain that this video was in fact filmed and it is real. Now, when I say real, that's kind of there's a lot of caveats in what real means, right? Because it's actually, or it's gonna get way deeper. It gets crazier than you even think. But so scroll back up to it.
No, yeah.
Or you're kind of in a good spot, but like,
through.
or can I actually take it? Just because I've been on it before. Okay, so it gets wilder and wilder the more we read about it. But this website does a very good job of it. So of course we read the initial reports, at least 8 dead at first. Then the New York Times said 10 dead, and AP News covered it. Now, what's important here is that this incident happens. Well, I guess we'll get into it later. It happens in Baghdad, Iraq. So the capital of Baghdad, Iraq. The problem is that surveillance footage appeared 3 days later, and it appeared on Twitter. Okay, so somebody leaked it onto Twitter. Okay, so this was not supposed to get out.
You can tell it's a leaked version because it's a cell phone camera of a security camera.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was gotten. It's someone recording, like Jalen said, someone recording CCTV footage, and it was leaked on Twitter 3 days later. Okay, so literally 3 days after the supposed bombing happened. Okay, so. Of course, here's the scene. We've already kind of gone over all the pretending and stuff, but here's where it gets kind of crazy. So locations, all right? So here's one of the things that's instantly weird is why all the trees are red. People, that was the first thing that people were pointing out. Like, why are the trees red when the location? I mean, trees are green. We live on Earth, right? The trees are green. Trees don't turn red like that, especially these trees. Like, even in the fall time, they don't do red. So what some people were saying is that there is... in a lot of CCTV, they have turned green to red. I don't know why that's a thing, but because I didn't really look into it, but it's sometimes used turn green to red for I'm not really sure exactly.
I'm pretty sure it's for clarity,
but that would make sense. But it's so that's the idea. So there's other green elements in it that turn red as well as the trees.
It's like the same reason that you can use a green screen is like green is really hard for cameras and stuff to process.
Okay.
So you would like a camera is barely going to pick up a green screen, so you could just blank the whole thing out.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you would turn it to red because it gets you higher contrast.
That makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Especially if it's bad footage.
Yeah.
So here's
that's at least how I understand it. I know a little bit about editing.
So here's a couple other things you can see.
Hey, Reflex, what up? Wait.
So they have the 4 trees, and they make out that pretty much you get the green trees here, the yellow trees here. So they have the exact trees match up. They have the language. The language itself matches up with on the lines. It's kind of harder to tell, but you can see it. These videos, there's other videos where I've seen it where it was a little bit easier. They show the exact Haria district. They show the line. They show the mashing palm trees. I mean, they pretty much guaranteed that this is in the exact spot. Now, we can get into what's crazy is we can get into some of the weird situations where, like, well, I guess we can get right into it. So so here it is right there. Look, that was the camera. So that's the camera in the district.
Okay.
So that's the security camera. They just didn't know that it was there. They did a poor job of scouting out the location, and this camera was on there. The yellow trucker, and it's quite frequently seen in the area. Anyways, so there's a theory that it is all okay. So here's some theories discussion, right? So basically, what the first theory emerged is that it was a staged attack by Shia. Okay, so oh man, but basically there's 2 different groups in Iraq. There's the Sunnis and the Shias. The Shias are generally the terrorists. Okay, so in Iraq. Okay, it's not. That doesn't mean that the Shias are always the bad guys, but generally speaking, in Iraq, the Shia neighborhoods Iraq is mostly Sunni, and the Shiites get angry, and so they do bombings, right? Okay. So they said it was a staged attack by the Shiites to inflame sectarianism against Sunnis in Iraq. So literally. So the idea was that the Shiites were trying to stage the.
Taka said Shiites are like the Bloods of Chirac.
there's like 3 different stories, man. There's the idea that it's a fake, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that they staged the attack. Then there's an idea that they staged the film. Then there's an idea that it's a double fake. Okay? That to create the impression that Shiites were lodging false reports, they created the film to make it look like people were trying to create fake films.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so, and we can get into why they think, and I think this is actually the most likely scenario, is that what happened was a bombing did happen, but then what happened was they then, after the bombing happened, they then went and filmed, another group came to that same location and filmed this fake bombing happened to make it look like the first bombing that did happen didn't happen, and that it was a fake bombing, and that these people are trying to create, and that they wanted the footage to get leaked out because they wanted it to make it seem like that the Shiites were creating fake news.
Jesus. Very convoluted.
So here's the main evidence, right? So you see the bombing, right? From this is clearly like you see the black on that's clearly from when the car exploded right here, right? Because we have right here we have all the trash, but there's no black, right? But then after the bombing, you have black. So here's you see there's black here, there's black here, and then there's black here. So what's interesting is that when the original when now look at this photo.
I was gonna say if you scroll back down, there was a picture that outlined it a little bit better. It was zoomed in more.
So in the photo where this fake staged happened, right there. Oh, okay. So in the photo, remember this is the photo of the staged event, right? There's already black mark from an explosion.
Yeah. That is weird.
And then later on, the next day after the faked explosion, which was released 3 days after the initial car bombing, there's an extra blackness where there wasn't this. See how there's this emptiness?
Yeah.
And then there's an extra blackness.
Could it be? I don't know anything about it, but just to play devil's advocate, could it have been like an area where there were like burn pits or something? Like, could that be what the initial black marks are from?
I mean, it could be, but like from the earlier photo, or where was it? But from the earlier photo, remember there was a photo from the area see?
Oh, yeah, okay.
And it was completely fine.
Never mind then.
And this was from well, when was this? Who visited the scene? A Twitter user who visited the scene. So, wait.
After.
Oh, it was okay. So wait, hold on. Is this even the same spot then?
Looks like it. Visited the scene on November 5th. So a month after. Still shows the garbage piled up in parts of the car. It does look like the same writing and logos on the wall though.
Yeah. But just maybe just like a different spot. Because like this is what it was red and this is green. So maybe this is just showing a different spot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it does look different.
So I don't know. I mean, it could have been the black could have been pre-existing for sure, actually, now that I think about it. It's a tough one, right? You see?
Yeah. Yeah, it is very, very odd. So, like 9/11 and all the guys who believe the conspiracy, he said, did you know that jet fuel doesn't melt hot enough to burn steel means?
Well, I mean, that's the basic idea, right? Is that when you have people tell you stuff like 9/11 could never happen because false flags literally just do not happen. Human beings don't do false flags. This is literal footage of like this is
some sort of a false flag.
This is how false flag happens. Like that's how. Oh, sorry.
No,
but this is a false flag.
Yeah.
This is
one man is waving
you're
his
watching a
hands
false
in
flag.
shock
Don't
and
tell me
panic,
that a false flag's never happened.
calling
You're
for
watching
help
one.
and
This is
assistance
one.
as
It's
others
happening.
rush in,
This is what it looks
seemingly
like.
putting
For sure.
It
themselves
happens
at
all the time.
risk.
These guys have done it before and they'll do it again. Don't tell me that it doesn't happen. And what happens is this happens, and I don't know if the first one did happen and this was a fake one, to make it seem like the first one didn't happen, and also the idea was that it was supposed to get leaked to then make it look like not only did it not happen, but the people who were saying that it happened actually created a false flag event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it's like a double layered false flag. This was like a super complex false flag. This was like a leaked false flag on purpose to make people think that false flags were happening, even though a false flag, it did happen, but it didn't happen because the event that actually was a false flag event actually did take place. I'm not explaining myself very well, but like I tried to do my best there.
Yeah,
but like,
no, I get what you're saying.
The event did take place, but then they tried to make it look like a false flag and didn't take place, and then they also wanted it to make. They also wanted that group to get caught.
Yeah.
So they were like double agents.
It's a bummer that they like that there's no information like who these people are.
So
yeah, it's like you said, it could be the double false flag, or it could be just a regular false flag. You were saying like the somebody made this video to make it seem like, oh, we're being attacked by.
So that's the thing is, did 8 people die or not?
No.
But that's the thing is, maybe they did.
Oh, in the earlier one, that's what you're saying.
They did it 3 days ago, and then this group of people would have been the same group of people that did the first bombing, right? Or is it the other way around?
I don't know. That's where I'm confused. It could go either way.
It could go either way.
Because if it was if it was the same group that did the first one.
So here's how it goes, right? Let's pick names. So basically, the story goes is that Sunni area, mostly Sunni people, Shia people, or no, Shia area.
Yeah, it said it was in the Shiite area.
Shia area, Sunni people come in, blow up Shia people. Shia people, who are usually the terrorists, go, okay, let's go and bomb them again, right? Because obviously, like, if they bomb us, we do the bombing, like, we're gonna have no problem bombing them again. So the idea is that it's getting the Shia people to get instigated. So someone's causing the Shia people to get instigated. Some people say it's the Shia people causing their own Shia people to get instigated. Some people say it's the Sunni people trying to make it look like the Shia people are trying to create false flag events. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I don't even know if the bombing did or didn't happen.
Yeah, that's the other crazy part.
But what I do know is that Trump probably was like, okay, we got to go in because of this bombing that the New York Times just wrote about, and we're going to go kill 1,000 more Muslim people.
Yeah.
And that probably did happen. We probably did invade the Al-Sharia area not closely after because we heard of a terrorist bombing that happened. So Trump sent in the boys. That's basically what I'm kind of getting at, is that this probably happens all the time where, oh, like all these people in this small village said that they keep getting terrorists that are coming and attacking them. Well, do you guys have anybody that died? Well, yeah, like we don't have bodies because we already buried them, but like 5 of our cousins just died from these people that are, and those people that terrorist groups that's terrorizing this little village is actually just them.
Yeah.
And then the United States comes in.
Well, I was going to say, couldn't that be another theory?
Gives them protection and guns.
Couldn't that be another theory? Is that you said Shias are normally the ones that do the bombings, right?
Yeah.
So couldn't that Iraq. So couldn't that have been another theory? Is that
these days
the Shia people say that they bombed like a Sunni area, right? And then the Sunni people, knowing that there's Americans in Afghanistan or in Iraq, like just in the area in general, close enough to be able to respond. So they go and say, hey, we're going to stage this bombing and pretend like we got attacked because we know that the U.S. will come in and just whoop ass on all these people, and then we won't have to even deal with them. Yep. So it could have been that they were the ones trying to cause the false flag on themselves to call for U.S. help. And then the U.S. comes in and just knocks out all these people, goes and kicks down doors and takes a bunch of these bomb makers, and then they didn't even have to get their hands dirty. You know what I mean?
That's definitely a tactic that's been used in the past as well.
Super wild. Chop said something earlier about some Russian lady or something. Sorry, can I see the mouse real quick? I wanted to go back up to that because I had no clue what he was talking about, but I didn't get to see the comment really.
Yeah, so there was are you talking about like kind of like the Russian, she's not necessarily a princess, but there was a very important a very important, like one of Putin's like right hand man, like one of his top advisors. His daughter was assassinated in a car bombing recently in Moscow.
Oh, wow.
Which is big deal because there was
the
a
assassination of that chick.
there was
in Russia.
car bombing that happened. It was a car bombing that happened in Moscow, and and it was quickly, because it's scary, but like you could have maybe made the claim that like that whoever did this car bombing could have maybe had help through intel or something from Americans. And if that's so, like, why are Americans helping people like assassinate people on the streets of Moscow? Does that mean like the Russians can start like helping people assassinate people in the streets of like Washington DC? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So that story was quickly like moved over. And that's one of those things where kind of talking about the subjects, like I don't think America, knowing like being an American and knowing American foreign policy, like that's not something America would be like, yeah, we'll help you guys with that. That's something that what Ukraine is Zelensky and that little weasel, dude. I hate him. He tried to create a world war just to save his own country. It's like, dude, you're not that important. I shouldn't be talking about this on Twitch, but it's like, yeah, man, like he said stuff like that. He's like, don't you guys realize that if Ukraine's gone, like we need everyone to just bring their nuclear bombs to Russia. Like it stops here with Ukraine. It's like, no, if Russia, it's like, no, it doesn't, dude. Like we're all going to live a great life and you guys deal with your own war by yourselves. You know, we're not risking World War III, World War IV over Ukraine. And it's like that thing where like Ukraine could have, I view it as like Ukraine probably like did this assassination and then wants to like try to convince Russia that America helped so that America gets like thrown into it. That's what Ukraine wants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They definitely do want.
They want America to get involved. So anyway, they could try to be like, oh, we just did something and we use the Americans' guns to do it. Like, are you gonna like attack America? Attack America. You know what I mean? Like that's what Ukraine wants. Screw that, man. That gets my grinds going. But anyways, so that type of stuff happens all the time. And
I mean, clearly, yeah.
I did a lot of like read some like books about the Middle East too, and about like modern Middle Eastern history, and like that's a lot of that goes on where it's like it sounds horrible, like, but there was a lot of going on where a lot of like this is kind of like how ISIS works, where it's like ISIS is Shia, and ISIS is there are other Shia people who are not ISIS, right? Like ISIS is Shia, but not all Shia people believe in ISIS, right? Like there's a lot of Shia people that are totally like very modern, very normal, very reasonable people, right? Mm-hmm. And they just have Shia beliefs. What ISIS's practices, and many other sort of Muslim terrorist groups have done this, is to literally they want Sunni people or other people of other faiths, but like usually Sunni people. They want, like, say I'm ISIS and I'm crazy, and then you're Shia, but you're not crazy, and there's other Sunni people. I want those other Sunni people to see. I want those other Sunni people to hate you too.
Gotcha.
Because like I want what's best for you, because you're Shia, so I really care about you. And what's really best for you is to have my crazy ISIS beliefs. That's how they really believe, right? Okay. So like by you thinking that like you don't need to have these crazy ISIS beliefs, that's like you're gonna go to hell. So I'm gonna try and help you. So like one of the horrible things that has happened in like the Middle East is they will go out of their way to like sort of like isolate their own people and make their own people like sort of like seen as the enemy, so that you have no other choice to go but like, okay, screw it.
Okay, I gotta go back with.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And they do that, and it's that like wicked twisted. So they are screwing
I feel like
over their
all
own
religions
people.
are kind of like that, aren't they?
And making
in a sense,
and they want like ISIS wants Sunnis to see Shia as the terrorists, because we're against you and you're wrong. Yeah. So we want you to hate all of us, because then your hatred for us is going to make our people see the truth and see you as the evil people. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Like that's been a tactic that's used in the past.
Yeah.
And it's horrible, sick and twisted. It's like your own people, you're screwing over your own people, but they'll do that. And so like that's sort of what we saw there, that video,
Mhm.
sort of knowing like that's been a practice that they've done before to instigate. It said that like here's some examples of them like they want the Shia people want want the Sunni people to be angry at the Shia people.
Yeah.
So they would go out and fake their own false flag just to do that. You know what I mean? Just to get people to think like, hey, a bombing happened, even though a bombing didn't happen. But they want to create that division. They want to create that division. So they will do bombings to make it look there's some division, but they didn't actually kill people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's even wilder is the United States will be like, we want to create division, so we're actually just gonna go in and do an actual bombing.
Yeah.
So like there is like, so you could say like that is crazy that they made a video, but it's like, yeah, but they faked a bombing. You know what I mean? Like the United States will just come in and bomb
Actually
people
drop
and then just be like, what are you guys gonna do about it? Get all
Yeah.
pissed at each other. They'll like create a false flag, kill real people, and then be like, you know, oh look, you know, Vietnam, you know, Northwoods, like you look, what are you gonna do about it now? Like you got to do something about it now, you know?
That's hilarious.
But anyways, I don't know.
Reflex said,
Crazy video, right?
Yeah.
That's anyways,
Extremely crazy.
That's real.
Reflex said, can you do the fountain trick with the deck? Are you talking about like this thing that I was doing earlier? That
Can
thing?
you do that upwards?
No, I wish. You can do it like this upwards though, like when you like spring them, but I'm not good at it. But like there's some people that can like do it sideways.
Whoa. You kind of almost
There are
did it.
ways you can do it like sideways or upways.
Oh,
or
you're saying not that. So
long
what are you
distance.
talking about then?
Oh, I think I know what he's talking about. It's like called like the waterfall or whatever. Like you hold the deck of cards like this way and like drop them and they make like a line like as they fall.
Oh.
Yeah, you just let the cards fall freely and it looks smooth. Yeah, no, can't do that. That takes a lot of skill. Like
Have you ever seen that?
the
Turpin Kids?
I don't.
We should do that.
think
Maybe
so.
not tonight, but like we should do that at some point. The Turpin Kids. That's a great one. Dude.
Is that the
I'm,
like
like,
the
super into
16
that.
kids
Farewell,
that
yeah.
were in the? Yeah, okay, yeah. I'd be down to talk about
But
that.
like they did a whole thing. It's not super long, but Barbara Walters like interviews him, and that one girl, the one girl who went out and saved, like she saved all of her brothers and sisters and everything.
Mhm.
She's like, it's really inspiring, dude. You just go like, wow, like she's one of those things that makes you believe in old souls because you're like she's supposed to be mentally retarded and she doesn't know anything about the world, yet she's just like so like smart. I don't know, and just brave, and that was
Yeah.
cool. So let's watch this. Huh?
I'd be super down to talk about it.
Are those
Yeah.
orbits?
They look kind of like orbits or verts, maybe. I think
that's
they're
not
verts. Virtuosos. The deck used. Oh, Ventus. Close enough. They're all the same fucking. They're all cardistry cards. I think this is what we're talking about. Cascade. Taco said, yeah, you guys should get into murder mysteries, like spooky ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be super down. He said, let's talk about that Asian girl that was found in the hotel water tanks. I
Lisa
watched,
Pham.
Yeah. Watched a lot of videos about.
Yeah, we could do
about
Lisa
her.
Pham. I know a decent amount about Lisa Pham. That also gets into about beings that maybe aren't there, but maybe
Yeah.
there are there. You know, dude. Like, it's weird stuff.
I want to see if this is what you're talking about,
haunted.
Reflex.
It's haunted. That place is haunted.
Is this what you're talking about?
Whoa, dude, that was insane.
Yeah, that's like way
Full
above.
screen that real quick.
Yeah, 1 second. I gotta like take us off the screen. Yeah, if that's what you're talking about, that's way above my fucking skill level.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful. So good. Oh, wonderful. You love to see it. Reflex said, can we appreciate how Austin gives us good discussions while Jay is just like the high friend that just agrees to everything? I was gonna say, yeah, I'm definitely not the high friend, but I like to learn, like to sit and listen. Yeah, Taka said it's the other way around. Yes, that's it. It's actually just simple. You just have to cross the cards and let them fall without having any tension on the cards. Yeah, I've tried to do it time and time again. I can't figure it out. I like literally know how to do like one cardistry move, and I'm not good at it, and I don't ever do it, and I hate it, and it makes me drop cards, and then I get frustrated.
Water
Not a
bending,
big
dude?
cardistry guy. But yeah, there's some fucking waterbend's a gnarly one also. I was like big into watching cardistry stuff for a while. There's some pretty cool shit cardistry wise. But yeah, let's I'll make a note because I definitely don't know if we have time to get into Lisa Pham tonight, but I'm super down to get into.
Yeah, Lisa Pham. What was the other ones we were talking about? Oh, the Turpins. That's
Yeah.
not necessarily a murder mystery, but it is mystery.
No, it's mystery though, yeah.
Cecil Hotel is where Lisa Pham was found. Yeah.
That's and Home
it's
to
kinda-
Killers and Murder Mysteries. Yeah. Oh yeah, Chop's right. Sorry, it's Elisa Lamb.
Oh, Pham,
Yeah.
Lamb.
Yeah, you're right.
I knew it was. Yeah. Elisa Lamb. I was saying Elisa Pham.
JT said, "Hey y'all, hello JT,
kinda
welcome to the
racist.
show."
No, I was thinking PHAM.
Yeah,
It's Vietnamese.
Elisa Pham, sup fam, rip fam. Oh yeah, for real though, rip fam, rip lamb. Yeah, I thought it was.
We have there's a bunch of those though that we could definitely get into.
Sorry, I started writing the Turpin and then just stopped. The Turpin family.
Bunch of those.
Not Elisa Pham, LMAO. Nah, it's Elisa Pham. Yeah, that story's fucked up. Hello. Yeah, it's a super weird one. The Cecil's a weird place too. Like, wasn't like Eileen Vornos known to stay in the Cecil?
Maybe.
And what's his name? Richard Ramirez,
I don't know either one of those people's.
the Night Stalker.
Oh, okay.
Richard Ramirez is the Night Stalker, and
Who was the Night Stalker again?
he's like a Hispanic guy. He was a serial killer in Los Angeles.
Black Dahlia? Was Black Dahlia Cecil Hotel?
I believe so, yeah. This is Richard Ramirez.
Whoa,
The Night
dude.
Stalker, Valley Intruder, American serial killer whose spree took place. Let's see.
Whoa, dude.
Taco said LA, he was murdering girls. Lots of Skid Row tweakers. Yeah, so.
But see, look, this is the thing that we don't ever get into, and when it does get into, they just sort of they throw it off as like, oh, he was just crazy. Don't look into it. He was just a crazy guy. But look at that dude. Cultivated a strong interest in Satanism and the occult.
Yeah.
Okay, and that he forced his victims to profess that they loved Satan, telling them to swear on Satan. And blah 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 blah. But the point is that you start looking into all this stuff about the Satanism and the occult stuff. Like, it's a lot more serious on a lot more forefront than, dude. I'm just saying it. You start looking into it. Anytime they like to paint it off as like, oh, it's not really a big deal, or oh, it's just silly little Satanism. You know what I mean? But it's like, no. This dude was evil and killing people, and he believed in Satanism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, look into other regular people. They
Well, and it
don't
says too.
worship Satan.
Yeah, it says too. He was abused by his father. So I guess father just like beat and rape him. I'm pretty sure. And then his cousin was in the military and started teaching him like military skills. And his cousin was a fucking psycho also. Would like teach him like, oh, here's how you like fucking skin animals. And they would just like go and like catch rabbits, and then you just like skin them for fun. And then so like he like that like childhood trauma mixed with like his cousin being a fucking whack job.
Yeah,
and then he got into Satanism and then mixed it all together.
See, but you probably like read the thing, and they were like, they probably didn't talk about his BDSM or bondage or torture, sex fantasies, or they didn't talk about his like probably read Aleister Crowley and probably like did tons of like ritual stuff and probably like worshipped and believed that there was like demons around him, you know what I mean? And instead they talked about like how he would probably like had a cousin who liked going hunting with him.
This one probably doesn't mention it.
Hold on. I used to go out in the country and shoot fucking rabbits and
For sure, yeah.
leave them dead all the time, dude. So it's like, if that makes me like,
I mean, your dad
prone to
didn't
be a serial killer.
Yeah, I guess if you get, I'm saying if you get diddled combined with
hold on.
and then,
I have relatives that were unfortunately like sexually abused young in childhood. I know a few.
Yeah.
Okay, not only relatives but also friends. None of them became serial killers.
of course, yeah, it doesn't happen every
Okay.
single time
But-
by any means.
But and definitely that type of stuff helps. But what I'm saying is
It's also
that,
not
like,
every Satanist becomes a
what I'm
serial
ta-
killer, though.
no, but actually, you'd be surprised on how many like crazy people are Satanists. And what I'm saying is, you'd
For
be
sure.
surprised on actually, like, if they really are Satanists, what they actually do, because you know what I mean. It's one of those things as well. And then also that there really aren't a lot of like, what am I trying to get at? That like that when you watch stuff like this, they like to not, like, it's almost like it's glossed over oftentimes, or it's not taken very seriously. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
but you go in and time again, you look at some of this, and it's like some of these crazy people like worship Satan and Aleister Crowley and stuff like
With this guy, if you look into it, obviously the Wikipedia is not going to touch on it, but if you like look into it and watch documentaries, they mention the Satanism stuff a lot. Like I'm pretty sure he was like known for like painting like pentagrams and stuff, like at like all of his murder scenes, like drawing them in blood. Like he was like big into it, and also said like that demons made him do it. I'm pretty sure this guy was like a schizophrenic, most likely. Like he would like say that.
But once
like,
again, it's like it's something like
weird beings
it's
made him
something
do
like it's something crazy. Like the vast majority, I don't want to say 99%, but the vast majority of people who are schizophrenic never do any violent acts, right?
For
like,
sure.
I think
Also,
a lot
like,
of people
there's
think
the-
a lot of people think that people who are schizophrenic are like going to be prone to violence, and that's not always true.
No, I
It's
agree
actually
with that.
usually not true.
I would feel like it's the same with the population of Satanists, though. Like, I mean, I would think it's probably only 1% of Satanists end up going and committing like murder.
I don't know. I think it's. Do you think that like 1% of Christians go out and commit good acts? Or do you think that like in order to be a Christian, you kind of have to go out and actually like practice what you preach?
I mean,
do you think you have to go out and practice what you preach in order to be like considered like a member of like that like sort of like practice? Literally.
No, not necessarily. Like I know some Christians that like go overboard. Like my grandma used to be a super hardcore Christian. It was like she would like pick up homeless people and like bring them to Thanksgiving dinner.
But what I'm saying is that like, because what you said is that like, oh well, probably most Satanists aren't actually going out and like killing people and stuff. But what I said was, do you think that most Christians are like, do you think most Christians do good acts?
And that's what I was saying.
Like,
no, probably not.
So you think most Christians just like, you don't think any Christians like actually like follow their religion?
No, I didn't say that I don't think any do. I'm saying I don't think most go out of their way to like do like a super over the top good acts. I think most people just say like, oh, I'm a Christian. And then like you cut them off on the freeway and they honk and say like, fuck you. And they flip you off. Like,
No,
I don't
but
think they're
like-
actually like going out and doing super good acts.
I guess I'm having a bad job of explaining myself, but I guess what I'm saying is, do you think that people who are Christian ever go out and do any sort of acts that they do because they are Christian?
Probably, yes.
Okay, so that's a good act or Christian act. I should have said, do you think Christians go out and do things that are Christianly?
I think some of them do, yeah.
So do you think only 1% of Christians act Christianly?
No, but I mean, probably
99%. Now,
Oh,
they're
no,
not doing
I wouldn't have put
hold
it
on,
at
they're
99.
not doing 100% of the time, but 99 all Christians have done something Christianly in their life. If you're a Christian and you've like you did something and you're like, I'm glad I did that. God's going to be happy at me. That's all I'm requiring, right? That's all we're
Okay.
talking about. Do you think that like most Christians have done one act of Christianly?
Probably,
Like, okay.
yes.
So by that same logic, I'm kind of pinning you, but then I'm saying Satanists, by that same logic, most Satanists have probably done a satanic act in order to call themselves satanic.
Probably, but are
Okay.
all satanic acts bad?
Yes.
Are they?
Yes, that's the point of Satanism, is to
I feel like
do
I've looked
evil.
this up before and it wasn't.
The point of Satanism is to do the opposite of good.
Yeah, I guess I haven't looked it up much. I've talked to somebody who like claimed to be a
They'll
practicing
tell you,
Satanist.
oh no, we just like to have fun. But then when you get into it, it's actually like, no, the reason they're having fun
Yeah,
is
see, Taco
because
said the same thing. He said Satanism isn't about being evil.
it is. No, it is. It is absolutely. It is absolutely. Not only is it about doing evil, but it's actually about causing like, it's literally the exact opposite of Christianity. Satanism is it's a birth out of Christianity, right? It is the antithesis of Christianity. It's not, don't say, and then don't go, oh, well, I heard one time like this chick, she had a bunch of tattoos and she said, no, it's actually just about sexual freedom and we just like to have fun and it's all just about having pleasures. That's paganism. That's not Satanism. That's not Luciferian. That's not like the Aleister Crowley stuff. Like you look into it, what Satanism is, it's about being evil. It's about like the goat. It's about, who's the goat? Like the goat is Satan, and like it's about like basically human sacrifice. It's about killing people. It's about evil. It's about doing like it's about doing the opposite of Christianity.
Gotcha. Yeah, like I said, I haven't looked it up very
Just type
often.
in like Satanism definition.
Because yeah, the one time I looked it up was after that guy said it, and it was like basically said it was like it didn't mention anything about being bad.
That's the thing, is if you're actually Satanism isn't bad. That's exactly what a Satanist will tell you. Well, like it's literally, they're evil. They want to do evil, and they want to have they want to create evil on earth. That's why this Richard Ramirez guy who was talking about Satanism was killing people.
I don't think. See, I guess that's where I would disagree. I don't think he was killing people because he was a Satanist.
Oh, so
I think he was killing people and then latched on to being a Satanist. He was
killing people, saying, "I'm killing them because I'm a Satanist. I'm putting all these Satanist symbols in from their blood all over the scene." But I'm not. But you're saying he's not doing. See, those documentaries, they work on you, man. That's what I'm saying. Is that all those documentaries?
Well, no. So if you listen,
trick people. Oh, the Satanism's silly. Don't actually like.
No, not at all.
It doesn't actually play any part
not at all.
why they're the way they are.
If you listen to what I'm saying,
it was because he was hunting with his cousin.
No. So if you listen to what I'm saying, so he started killing people and then latched onto Satanism after he had already started murdering people.
No. Well, maybe.
I mean, you haven't looked into this guy. I have plenty of times. And JT said I disagree also. But so looking into this guy, he started killing people before he was into Satanism. He started killing people, and his main thing, like when he got arrested, was saying that the reason he started killing people was because of what his dad did.
Stop. So then, because he was killing people first now this isn't true. This is just what you remember. So we don't actually know this yet. But let's say you're right. So he was killing people first. Then he got into Satanism. Therefore, Satanists don't do evil things. Because that was what I was talking about earlier. I was saying that like Satanists, the point of Satanism is to do evil things on earth. Like it is to bring the devil, the demon, Satan and his world onto the middle plane. There's 3 planes. There's the underworld, the heavenly world, and the middle kingdom. The point of Satanism is to bring Satan and his demons up from the underworld and into the middle earthly kingdom. That is the point. Okay. And Satanism was created out of Christianity. Okay. It has nothing. Satanism does not exist without Christianity. So Christianity is about doing good things. Satanism came out because Satanism is Satan is Satan. Satan is a word for the devil. Okay. And also Satan is not Lucifer. Okay. Satan is not Satan, Luciferianism. Okay. So we can get into all that too. Oh, what is this brain stuff? How stuff works?
Yeah, talk a link this. I was just pulling it up.
This will be perfect because this will probably I haven't read this, but I'll actually probably explain my point.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up. We'll see. Because Taco linked it, and Taco's saying he disagrees, so it might agree with Taco's point, but we'll see. Taco did say, he said maybe extremist Satanism, and he said that's like saying Islam is about being evil and doing suicide bombs and cutting people's heads off. I agree with that. I mean, I see where he's coming from.
No. That's so silly. And if you agree with that, it's just because you didn't actually fully read that.
No, I did read it.
So Muhammad is about evil.
saying
Muhammad talked about how he wanted to be evil because Satan and Satanism is about anti-Christianity and it is about evil. Okay, so that's why they do evil things. Okay, Muhammad, and Islam is about surrender and it's about following and it's about devotion.
Hey, they
right?
have to follow
okay?
Kizzle Chan.
So it has nothing to do with evilness. It has nothing to do with because some groups of terrorists do it. If you, it's like.
Yo, what's up, Kizzle Chan?
I don't even want to I honestly don't even want to I don't even want to entertain the idea that Islam is anything. The idea that Islam is like Satanism. That's first of all, it's offensive to Islam, but it's also I don't even know why I'm even having to be Islam is not close to Satanism.
I don't think he's saying that it's close to Satanism. I think he's just saying that if you take the extreme.
Islamic terrorists have nothing to do with Satanism.
No, he didn't say it has anything to do with Satanism. He's saying that if you're taking
you said you could see that.
I said I agree with what Taco said, that you saying that Satanism is about committing murder, I believe, from what I've looked into.
Satanism is about committing evil.
And he was saying maybe in extreme cases, he's saying that Satanism is only about committing evil is like saying that Islam is about committing terrorist acts. That's what Danny's equivalence that he just made was.
No.
And he said, I think he was saying in chat that the video is going to disregard what you were saying.
You have to understand. No, it won't. You have to understand that Satanists. Okay, so you have to understand that if you hear a Satanist talking about pleasure, they're saying that because they are acknowledging that pleasure is bad and that pleasure is evil. So them taking part in the pleasure is evil. Okay. Okay. So the entirety of Satanism is the antithesis of Christianity, is the antithesis of good. It is the religion of evil. Okay? And that's just what it is. And people and yeah, worldly pleasures give you, yeah, exactly. And worldly pleasures are evil, and so partaking in worldly pleasures is an evil thing to do, and that's what Satanists do. And they don't think that's good, because if you think that's good, taking part in worldly pleasures, if you think that it's good to take part in worldly pleasures, then that negates the entire sort of like, that negates the entire pleasure, the surplus pleasure that a Satanist enjoys when they're partaking in those things. The point of a Satanist is that it feels extra good to do bad things. That's why we do the bad things. That's the point of Satanism. They don't say that doing bad things is good. They say we do bad things because when we do bad things, it gets our blood going more.
Let's see. Taka said, watch the video, please. So we'll see. Let's watch the video real quick.
By Brain Works. How Brain Works or something? I forgot the channel name.
Brain Stuff, how stuff works. So we'll see. We might learn a thing or two from this.
Which is funded by Talmudic Jews.
Hey, and welcome to Brain Stuff. I'm Josh Clark, and you're you, and this is the Brain Stuff where I explain to you Satanism. Sure, if you like heavy metal and you have a comb sticking out of your back pocket, you're probably cool with somebody calling you a Satanist. But more often than not, if you're called a Satanist, it's because someone is shouting after that, burn him! It's not a good thing. And traditionally, it's been used to discredit people. Probably the most famous early use of accusations of Satanism was leveled against the Knights Templar, the very wealthy religious army.
They were
that
Luciferians.
invaded the Middle East during the Crusades.
This guy already, they were Luciferians. They worshiped Lucifer.
Were accused of worshiping Baphomet.
Yes, they worship Baphomet and Lucifer, a form of Lucifer.
By the 19th century. The thing is,
aren't Lucifer and Satan the same though?
Nope. So not at all.
So what's the difference?
There's a lot of people in America in the 2000s that think that Lucifer and Satan is the same thing. Look, Taco Man saying Lucifer is Satan. Wrong.
And then Chop said, no, they're different.
Wrong.
See, I thought in Christianity they were taught to be the same.
Yeah, and a lot of Christians will tell you that, but people who worship Lucifer will strongly tell you that is not the case.
Gotcha.
And and this is like there's a lot of misunderstandings to Satanism, Luciferianism. Lucifer is not evil. Okay? Satanists and Aleister Crowley are specifically, you
said that Lucifer is not evil?
Nope. Lucifer is about shining light. He's the Lord of Light, okay? And he kind of looks like this guy, and he's half male, half female, and it's a very old religion. But Satan is a Christian. It's a new thing, and it very much has to do with sex, with killing, with making children scream and then taking that pleasure from them. It's doing evil things. It's anti-Christianity, and it's the devil.
Gotcha.
I guess the devil. A lot of people think that Lucifer is the devil.
Yeah.
So there were people in the 1700s that were worshiping Lucifer. Okay, the people who created the Enlightenment, the Illuminati, they worshiped Lucifer, the Lord of Light, the Enlightenment. Okay, they worshiped Lucifer. The church didn't like these people because they were scientists and they were figuring out things. So they said that this Lucifer guy is Satan. And then
Gotcha.
that was when everyone started mixing them together. But these are two completely different things. Lucifer is a pagan thing, whereas Satan is just the devil. Whatever the devil, which is the opposite of good, is Satan. And it's a Christian devil.
I was going to say, it seems like it depends on what religion you ask if they're the same or not, right?
kind of.
'Cause
So no, hold
Taco,
on.
me,
Yes, kind
and
of.
JT said all raised Christians said that they're the same, or that we were
raised
taught,
thinking that they were same, but you were raised propaganda. You were lied to. But
so who's
but
to
they
say
didn't
which
know,
one is the lie, though?
They didn't know. Those people didn't know that you were being lied to, but you were being made misinformation. You were given misinformation. The church, Lucifer was a god that people worshipped, like the Illuminati. The church hated the Illuminati. They said this god, Lucifer, is actually Satan. Satan is an old thing that is just the devil. It's the anti-God. Okay, so that there's good in Christians. There is to Muslims. There's no Satan. Okay. To Jews, there's no Satan. To all the other religions, there's no Satan. Satan is a Christian creation. That the Christian church said that the devil, the person who does evil, is Satan. And then people like Aleister Crowley 100 years ago Aleister Crowley created the modern day version of what we know as Satanism. So when we think of Satanism and you think of those sex parties and you think of all that stuff, that's Aleister Crowley and his version of Satanism that was created in the 1900s, okay?
Gotcha.
Late 1800s.
Here, Chop just broke it down pretty well. He said as a result, Lucifer was identified with the devil in Christianity and in Christian popular literature, as in Dante's Inferno, Juice Vondel's Lucifer, and John Milton's Lost Paradise. Early medieval Christianity fairly distinguished between Lucifer and Satan. While Lucifer as the devil is fixated in hell, while Lucifer as the devil is fixated in hell, Satan executes the desire of Lucifer as his vassal.
Well, so I don't know where you got the last part of the second one, but the first thing about Lucifer as a result of, I've never. Okay,
and then
so
Taco said Satan was the angel that God exiled, and then Lucifer came from Roman Christianity.
Yes. So, well, kind of. Lucifer came from, when you say Roman Christianity, it's kind of tough. Lucifer came from Romans. So Lucifer is Jupiter, right? So Lucifer is a Roman god. That's very old. And you have Christians, right? Satan is a Christian god. Okay, I've honestly never heard, and I've read Dante's Inferno, and maybe I'm wrong, but like I don't ever remember Lucifer being in hell in Dante's Inferno. I
haven't read it. So
sure. That's like too deep to get into. But like Lucifer is generally referred to as, and it gets hairy in the medieval area because there's a lot of fake news. But Lucifer was a European god. Think about it this way: there's pagans. There was
we will in a second, Taco.
There was Europe before and after Christianity. There was Europe where they believed in like Roman gods, where the planets and stuff. They believed in people like Baphomet, and Baphomet is another name for Lucifer. They believed in Lucifer. Lucifer is the morning star. The morning star is Venus, so it's the brightest star in the night. That is what Lucifer is. He's Venus. That's Lucifer. Okay, that is not necessarily the same as Satan. They got confiled because of that, like because the Illuminati were worshiping Lucifer, and these people were doing sacrifices to them, and so they said, "Oh, that is a god, a false god. It's a god like Satan." And then the words got mixed together, but they're different. They're completely different gods. And if you look into it, and especially if you look into the people who actually worship Lucifer, they're not talking about Lucifer as in the Satan guy. For example, oh man, never mind. I'll just read chat. You guys are talking a lot.
Yeah, Chop said, we'll read through this real quick and then we'll play the video because Talk said, watch the video. Chop said, So Taco said, yeah, that's like saying Jesus equals God equals Yahweh equals the Holy Spirit. He said God is God and Jesus does his work.
But not really, because Lucifer is older than Christianity. Lucifer traces itself back to Baphomet, which is like super old. Satan was created out of Christianity. Satan is just the opposite of good, okay? And then the modern day version of Satanism, like when we have people wearing black and doing pentagrams and stuff, and what Richard Ramirez was, they're Aleister Crowley worshipers. Specifically, they're Aleister Crowley worshipers. You look into it, there's very specific. This picture right here, This, I can guarantee you, this picture of Baphomet is not an old picture of Baphomet. This is an Aleister Crowley picture of Baphomet. You can tell. Anyways, let's watch the video. Although what you can see, you see the boobs. He's male and female. It's kind of interesting.
Historians believe that it's possible Baphomet is a mangled translation of Muhammad, and that the Knights Templar were actually secretly Muslims and had converted during the Crusades.
That's
even more famously were
such
the witch
horse
hunts.
shit. I don't even know where he got that idea. Sorry.
What? Whatever he just said.
That Templars secretly converted to that Islam, and that Baphomet was a cover for worshiping Muhammad. That's so. That, like, not even like, trust me, I'm a crazy conspiracy theorist, and like not even like that's a what, like I don't know why that's a crazy idea. But anyways, the Knights Templar, they had some crazy, they worshipped they weren't just Christians.
Baphomet is a mangled translation of Muhammad, and that the Knights Templar were actually secretly Muslims and had converted during the Crusades. Even more famously were the witch hunts in Europe and the Americas that were carried out from the 14th century onward. All of those people who were accused of witchcraft were also accused of worshiping the devil and being in league with him. And even more recently than that, in the 1980s and 90s, in the United States and Britain, there was something called a satanic panic, which is a moral panic that saw everybody from burnouts to daycare workers accused of worshiping Satan and murdering people. And
a lot of this wasn't a panic
children.
Though, too. There was a lot of rewriting, like a lot of stuff did happen, and then the news rewrote it as people are panicking. A lot of it was panic, though, too. A lot of it was stranger danger. But there were legitimate things happening, like how the entire Orange County foster care system was ran by a child molesting Satanist worshiper. And he's in prison now for the rest of his life, but he operated the largest CPS district in the entire United States, and there was tons of audio footage of him talking about how he was collecting the children, and he'd send them off to certain foster care homes who he was friends with, and it was a whole trafficking organization, and he worshipped Satan, and he did all these horrible things, and he was the most powerful CPS man in the 90s in the United States, and he's now in prison. But then as soon as he went to prison, the news was like, by the way, that's all fake, and just don't think about it in America. And it's all panic, and if you believe in it, you're a right winger. That's what they used to say. You believe in Reagan.
I'll find an article to it, Reflex, and we'll link it in the Discord. So I guess my big question too is, doesn't that happen all the time? Like, don't Christian people do that kind of shit all the time too, and like tons of different religions?
What do you mean?
Like, kidnap people and traffic them for sex and do all these exact same crazy things that the Satanist guy did? Probably higher numbers of them too. Like,
in the name of Christianity?
I feel like a lot of people murder, like Taco was talking about it earlier, that a lot of people murder people in the name of Christianity, or like...
Yeah. But you're saying that people are molesting people in the name of Christianity? Because like point of the Satanism is, I feel like you want to get that.
Wasn't the Turpine family super Christian? Or Mormon or something?
Well, okay, so one of them was raised... Yes. So, the
dad, right?
No, the mom was raised in West Virginia.
Oh, okay.
So she just had these things about like God and the devil, but she didn't like, once again, was she doing all these things? Was she like,
take me home?
Hey, Jesus.
Was she,
West Virginia?
I guess what you're trying to say is that like people are molesting children in the name of Christianity.
Yeah, I mean...
You do believe that?
Yeah. Elizabeth Smart,
like
I mean, would be
Church. Like the Catholic Church is like, even though they're hiding it, so they're ashamed of it, they're hiding it, but
the
like...
church might be hiding it, but specific individuals...
No, hold on, but your assertion would be that like, that Christianity, that the other religions are
people who are committing those acts.
But they're doing it because they're Christian, because they believe that Christianity is telling them they need to do this.
Yeah, so
you think that?
Yeah, have you looked into...
I would say that there's nowhere in Christianity it says to kill people or molest children.
I haven't read the books, but I'm saying...
They do it in the name of their religions. Yeah, all religions do it, for sure, yeah.
That's what I was saying, yeah.
But they don't do it, but Satanism says specifically it's prescribed to do these things because it's evil. Like Satanism specifically goes out and says, do these bad things because you're going to do bad things on earth and we want bad things to happen. most other religions like Islam and stuff, their religions prescribe them to do better things, but they just end up doing bad things, and they're usually ashamed of it, and they try not to do those bad things. I think it's like conflating those two things, saying like, oh, well, like, you know, oh, so worshiping Satan says to murder a person here and there. Don't all religions say murder people? It's no different.
No,
I think there's a big difference.
Yeah, not the religion itself.
Remember,
the people,
Satanism is specifically saying, Satanism is saying God is real, heaven is real, the good and right path is real. Do the wrong thing because it feels real good and it's going to cause a bunch of chaos.
Gotcha.
That is what Satanism is all about, okay? It's different. It's different. It's different than the other religions.
Gotcha.
Because they're doing the wrong thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't looked into it, but...
All in the name of the Dark Lord. The thing is, this was a super nutso time. And
Taco came in too.
went
Sorry.
to prison for decades for crimes
Sorry,
that
Taco, we were
they
muted.
and
Hello.
actually no one ever committed. The whole thing was totally fictitious. Now, despite the moral panics and instances where people have murdered in the name of Satan, there's no evidence that there actually ever has been a widespread and organized worship of Satan, despite the fear by some that it actually exists.
Dershi, what up, wait?
Instead, Satanism is
Pause
a
right there. So he's like, remember, there's never been, this is the same guy, okay? Remember, the same guy that's telling you there was never any evidence of widespread organized Satanism. So there was never any organized spread of there was never any organized widespread Satanist acts, right? You ask this guy, hey, what about all those cattle mutilations that happened? He would say, oh, well, I did a little research on fucking AskJeeves.com and it said that it was all organized Satanism. Because when you ask, how was the cattle mutilation, sheep mutilation? Oh, it was all organized Satanists. That's what they say. It was all organized Satanism. All over America, it was all Satanists. This same guy that'll say cattle, I bet you he would say that cattle mutilations was done by freaking Satanists. I bet you do. Anyway, sorry. That's my own thing.
Instead, Satanism is a wholly made-up philosophy that focuses on the sanctity and the freedom of the individual. To Satanists, Satan is a symbol of mankind's free will. They don't really actually believe in the Christian version of Satan. They certainly don't believe
how could
in
you
the
say
red devil running around
How could
with
you
the
say that?
ponytail
They don't
and
believe in the
horns,
Christian version of Satan.
although they did appropriate the beard. The actual
See,
church-
this is like the way that I understood it too, and I guess this is the way that Taco understood it. But I guess it depends on where you're getting your research from.
This is fake. They absolutely believe this. That's like, think about how badly they're gaslighting you, dude. They're a church of Satan. They worship a guy named Satan. They live in the Western world of Christianity. They believe in all these. They're anti-Christians, and they call themselves Satanists, but they don't actually. Oh, that Satan guy that the Christian church believes in? No, it's just a different guy. Think about, no, it's the same guy they're talking about. There's a reason they named themselves the Church of Satan. I've read Aleister Crowley. He talks about Lucifer and he talks about Satan. He talks about the differences. They like them both. They like Lucifer for their own reasons. They like Satan for their own reasons. But Satan, when they're talking about Satan, they're definitely talking about the Christian Satan. This idea that there's a Satan from Christianity and then there's this Satan Smith who say all the Satanists are worshiping, they're worshiping the same thing, dude.
I don't know.
And like I said, it is new. It is different because it's Aleister Crowley's version of Satanism. It is different. But like to say that they didn't take their inspiration of Satanism didn't come from the Christian Satan is so absurd.
Yeah, and like I said,
wait, do you actually believe that? Do you actually? So after listening to this guy in a little flannel shirt and a nice dress shirt and a white T-shirt, he's got his things rolled up. Do you actually believe that the Church of Satan has no relation to what the Christians believe is Satan? Do you believe that now?
I haven't looked up. Like I said, I've done one.
Yeah, but that's what this guy just said.
So the one time I've looked it up,
him?
it backed up what he said.
Okay, so you do. I'm glad you said that. Dude, that's pretty embarrassing, bro.
I mean, yeah, like I said, it's Jesus Christ, so loud. But yeah, it's like the chat was just saying. I guess it depends on where you get your where you do your research from.
Well, you guys watch this one. Opinion. I guess let's keep watching this video. See what this guy keeps saying.
Of Satan was founded in 1966. It's pretty recent. And it was founded by a guy named Anton LaVey.
Oh my God.
That Christian churches were actually quite hypocritical. So he packaged his brand of individualism.
By the way, Anton
mockery
LaVey
of Christian rights. It
is
attracted like
he believed himself the adopted son of Aleister Crowley.
minded people
And
actually,
basically
50
just
years
wrote
on,
everything.
the church
Aleister
is
Crowley
still
said we
around.
should do
It
this, so
spawned
let's
some
do that.
offshoots like the Temple of Set in 1975, and more
Shop redeemed the Halo vocal, so I have to pause it. I was trying to play.
Is Halo Satanist?
Probably.
No, Halo is actually the ultimate Christian. They're Christians. They're Catholics, dude.
recently the Satanic Temple in 2013. The Satanic Temple's activities mostly include shining a spotlight on the lack of separation between church and state.
No,
in the
dude,
United
if you
States.
look up,
So, for example,
they're all
they
about
paid for a
LGBT,
9-foot
they're all
bronze
about we
statue
support
of Baphomet
democracy, we're
surrounded
Bernie
by
Sanders
adoring
supporters, we
children
want
that they plan to
equality,
install at the
we want
Oklahoma State
democracy, we
Capitol
want
building
everybody to
after
have
the Ten
rights.
Commandments went
That's
up
what they
there.
sound
They
like if
also
you listen to them
distributed
talking.
a kids'
They sound
coloring
super
book
good.
at a school.
Look, that
where
looks
Christians were
beautiful.
handing
They
out
look like
pamphlets.
they're just
They're
nice.
also known as being the trolls who trolled Uber Trolls Westboro Baptist Church
Ah,
by
once
holding
again,
a gay satanic
total
wedding
baby
on
face.
the grave of
Look,
Fred
all,
Phelps'
the Satanists
mother.
are baby
Fred
face.
Phelps is the founder of Westboro Baptist
Super baby
Church.
face.
That's some trolling. If you want to troll us, go ahead and
Look
leave
at
a
all those
comment
guys'
below.
search histories,
We don't
by the
care.
way. You don't want
Go
to
ahead
see
and
what it is.
subscribe while you're down there.
There's a
We
reason
do
why they're
care about that.
Satanists.
And if you want more awesomeness,
All right, now
House
watch
Stuff
one of my
Works.
videos on Satan, no?
Yeah,
Come
I mean,
on,
if you have a good one, then
We'll go back
link
to
it.
that Robert Sepper guy. Type in Robert Sepper, Lucifer, or no, Satan. Because he talks about the difference between what Satan is. Oh man, those are long though.
Yeah.
Scroll down. We want like something short. Look at that, Lucifer, an ancient Greek god. Maybe just click on that one and then we'll scroll through the 12-minute one.
This one?
Yeah.
Baphomet and Sophia.
Yeah. And we'll scroll really quick through it.
Move you.
Oh,
But
shit.
some
This is going to show you who Baphomet is, talk about the Knights Templar and how they did worship Baphomet. And it'll talk a little bit about...
Yeah, Kizzle Chan, you definitely picked a bad channel if you don't appreciate talking, my brother. Not a great place to be.
Oh, no, dude. We'll talk about... We're about to switch off. We'll talk about games, dude. What are you into? You get into games? What do you
Well, I was going to say, it'll be talking regardless. Chopper said, I got to ask, where does sneaker culture fit into all this? Sneaker culture thing was a
we'll get
really
into it.
shitty video that I found that's not great. I actually hate the content. Kizzle Chan said, I sent a video on Discord for you to react. Yeah, like I said, we'll try and get to it, brother. Don't worry.
We're going to skip through this kind of quickly. Trust me, we are not going to watch this whole thing. But we're going to talk about, this is going to talk about what Baphomet is. It's going to talk about what Lucifer is, and it's going to talk about what Satan is. And we're going to see how old these beliefs are, and about how the people back hundreds of years ago believed this kind of the same things that the people are saying nowadays, but it sounds a little bit more woke now. And then you go, oh, I see. They're the same people. They believe the same things. They're just hiding some of their beliefs, and they're trying to make it seem more palatable now. But they worship they sacrifice babies on altars for their evil gods, man.
Taco said, I thought Baphomet wasn't Satanism,
Yeah,
and
no.
that it's Luciferianism.
But he's gonna explain how it's all different. And you're gonna see, but it's all very close though. It's actually all very close.
Oh, shit. What just happened?
That's it.
Oh, there we go.
God by various groups and organizations such as the Knights Templar.
Oh, so we hit this.
It is most famously portrayed as a goat-headed
This is
deity
Baphomet.
with a human body, harboring
So that last
both
video at least
male
got this right.
and female attributes. An androgen, representing perfect balance,
Male and female.
a union of opposites, and illustrates the old cryptic saying, as above, so
I thought that
below.
was that looked like the, what's the fucking...
Okay, do this.
No, hang on. What's the group? Hang on. The Masons. They have that, like...
Well, yeah,
What's that thing that draws circles?
you're right, bro. And that's there
What am I
too.
talking
Okay, so that's
What is that tool called?
It's a
Help me out, I'm
compass.
No.
Yeah, compass.
That you put down
Is
and
it
it has... It's got a
Yeah.
spike in the middle and a pen on the other side,
Yeah,
and you
it's
twist it and it draws the full
it's not
circle.
the direction compass, but I thought it was called. It's a.
Is it still called a compass?
Yeah, I thought it's a compass.
Oh, frick.
Is it not?
I don't know.
That's a map compass. Yeah, he's saying that's a map compass.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Taco's right. Interesting. Yeah, this thing. Yeah, compass. Well, okay.
Anyways, so but what is that symbol though? It's to just show the engineering, but it's also, gentlemen, you're perfect, dude, because you're showing the Masons are also freaking Satanists.
Illuminati.
They worship Baphomet because Baphomet is the goat. Okay, the goat head. Whenever you see the goat head, you know that's Satan.
See, I thought that the Masons were Illuminati. What you're saying is Luciferian.
It's all very close, and you end up. That's why the Christian church called them out.
Said the same thing.
No, but see, Lucifer and Satan are two different things, worshipped by different things. But you're right. At the end of the day, the church was like, okay, these people are worshiping, the people that used to worship Lucifer are now worshiping Satan, vice versa. It's all very connected. But Baphomet has the goat head, and he's male and female. Okay, yeah. Male. This is male.
Yeah.
Okay. This is male. The upwards. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The penetrator. This is female. The womb. Okay. You ever seen what a Star of David is?
So how does this play into the Star of David?
The Star of David is this triangle.
Yeah, it's this
triangle.
Six-sided triangle.
The Star of David is a Baphomet symbol. It's a symbol of Satanism.
So Jewish people are Luciferians?
Not all Jews, but the Jews that worship the Talmud, yes.
Gotcha. I don't understand it.
The word hermaphrodite, incidentally, comes from combining the words Hermes and Aphrodite.
I didn't know that. That's a fun fact.
This symbolism is further expressed in the 16th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the ayin, meaning eye. It's also the 16th letter of the Phoenician alphabet, which gave us the origin of the Greek and Latin letter O. The perfect circle, it is also symbolic of balance.
All right, but skip through a bit.
As well as affinity
this
or divine theric occult interpretation for an eye.
This gets into like all the eye shit. He gets deep into symbology, dude, but the goats.
Prominently in Yule. The goats were linked to goats, which Thor resurrects in the common theme.
All the goat symbology all comes from
Yule
this
goat
Baphomet
was
character.
an ugly creature plagued
Thor
becoming
had a
the giver
chariot,
of
not with
Christmas
horses,
gifts.
but with goats.
In Finland, as well as the Yule goat.
Yeah, this is the German Krampus.
Christmas
or whatever.
wasn't even celebrated
That's
in the
Krampus right there.
US
Yeah,
until
he's a goat.
the mid-1800s because it was considered a pagan drinking holiday.
Goat human.
Revelry.
Christmas
Right,
trees, candy
that whips
canes,
you with
even
branches.
Santa Claus seem like they've been around forever.
It sounds
But
kind of
many
like
of these Christmas traditions are surprisingly recent.
Centuries before Jesus walked the earth, early Europeans were celebrating light and birth. Winter celebrate the winter solstice. Fathers and sons that could in this
that which lives through the
supreme.
Oh yeah, but that was the point of the tree, was that they burned them.
Winter's deadly Santa Claus. A thousand week before plenty days in.
I just want to get to Lucifer.
Yeah, no, I thought maybe I picked a bad video, but I mean, it says Baphomet.
To this small but powerful sect, the birthday of Mithra was the holiest day of the year.
December 25th was the winter solstice in that part of the world. And it was also understood to be the birthday of the sun god, Mithra.
What did it just say?
So this is also a very important day, is that this is the origins of our Christmas, or at least the origins of why, because everyone knows Jesus wasn't really born. People say, oh, Jesus' birthday was the 25th, but everyone knows, oh, Jesus wasn't really born on the 25th because the goats wouldn't have had babies on the 25th, and the manger wouldn't have been the way the manger was. You know, it was the springtime, obviously. So why was Jesus' birthday on the 25th? Well, this explains why. It's because it's pagan, and it has to do more with Baphomet and Satan.
Reflex said, are the sacrifices still a thing, though, Austin?
So now what they do is they do fake sacrifices where they either sacrifice only goats, or if you see the thing that they do at Bohemian Grove, they sacrifice fake babies. So they don't sacrifice real babies. They sacrifice babies.
Doesn't Bohemian Grove just burn a big effigy too? Like Burning Man? Don't they burn the big owl?
No, so they burn a baby effigy in front of the owl.
Oh,
they don't. The owl is they burn it for their owl.
Oh, gotcha.
And owl is Moloch, who's actually very similar to Baphomet. But it all comes from the same. They're Talmudic. It's all the same. It's all from like the Middle East, ancient stuff. But no, I don't think they do much sacrificing. I mean, maybe they sacrifice goats and stuff. You know, I don't think they do a lot of like killing. I really don't think it happens. I think, you know, you hear Jeffrey Epstein, Sepper gets all into about how like Jeffrey Epstein's like remember that weird temple on his island?
I didn't ever see pictures of the island.
You never saw the temple with like the blue and white temple?
No.
Yeah, well, he has a bunch of temples and stuff on his island, and they all have to do with like worshiping Satan and worshiping Baphomet and this type of stuff. and so, you know, there's some people who say that missing Venezuelans went missing on that island, or missing Africans, or missing French people, or missing Brazilian children. And I will tell you right now, they definitely, if they were doing sacrifices, they were definitely sacrificing them to Baphomet, not Jesus or Yahweh. They weren't, you know what I mean? So it probably doesn't happen. Maybe some of them do. You know, you look into what the Ezra Miller guy's doing, the celebrity. He hasn't killed anyone, but he's doing a lot of really sick stuff to 12-year-olds and 14-year-old kids. And he's doing it and saying he's doing it all because, or they are saying they're doing it because of Aleister Crowley and because of all these things. And you just read the Aleister Crowley books. Read what Anton LaVey says. Just read what Anton LaVey says.
Who's the guy that you just said?
Ezra Miller. He's like a Hollywood guy.
Like an actor or a producer or something?
He's like a weird, skinny Jewish, used to be male, but then he switched to a non-binary. And he believes he's constantly getting arrested for beating up people, hitting women. He's like, one of the worst things that he's done is he's like keeps finding like 12 to 14-year-old girls and then brings them up to his like Airbnbs or his place in New Hampshire, and like not letting them leave and like grooming them and telling them like, you know, you can't leave or I'll kill your whole family, and they're convinced because they're 14 years old. And so he's like creating, like, he's like, you don't understand, these kids' families, like, they're better with me, and he's able to get away with it because he has tons of money and he has really good lawyers. And so he's like, he's up in New Hampshire just like getting arrested constantly and then getting out. And then talking about Aleister Crowley and talking about how he's like trying to like change the minds of the youth and like trying to corrupt everyone. You know what I mean? Just look at what he has to say. Just look at what Aleister Crowley's books say. Just type in Anton LaVey, creator of Satanism. Look at what he talks about. He talks about how much better it is when people are screaming and in pain. Like they're not good. They're evil. They like evil. The point of Satanism is that it feels good to be evil. That's the point. Sorry. This is maybe a bad video, but it's kind of cool about how like the Knights Templar stuff. This guy says crazy stuff. This guy did not say that the Knights Templar were Muslim. This guy was like,
Reflex said, I need to rewatch this. Look this up. Too much info. Yeah, there is a lot of information. We can put links for everything that we got into and send it in Discord if you want to.
I get triggered by Satanism, dude. Honestly, I get triggered by Satanism. That's what happened. I got triggered. I don't like Satanism, dude. I watch tons of videos on like Satanism, and like that's the thing is that like I'll type in a great art bell of the Anton LaVey's either his daughter or one of his wives was the runner of one of his wives, one of Anton LaVey's wives, his main wife was the runner of the church, the Temple of Satan in the 90s, and she went on Art Bell's show, and Art Bell does it way more beautifully than I do, because I get all frustrated and amped up and I start yelling and screaming and going, you don't know what you're fucking talking about. But like what happens in the Art Bell interview, and I'll link it in the stream, is she goes and she says, Satanism's fun. We love gay people. We're all progressive. Black people, Jews, like everyone. We're LGBT, and we voted for Bernie and Clinton. Bernie wasn't around, but they voted for Clinton, and like they're cool, and like we're hip and fun, and we just like pleasure. And like those Western Borough Church, like the church is like super lame and like square, because the church is square, right? Don't get me wrong. But then Art starts to kind of break her down. He goes, okay, well, so then do you actually believe in magic? She goes, no, we don't believe in magic. And he goes, okay, well, do you guys do rituals? And she says, yeah, well, we do rituals because we believe that when we do rituals, it actually makes a change. And he goes, okay, well, isn't that magic? And he goes, well, she goes, oh, well, I guess it is kind of magic. And he goes, whose magic is that? And then she goes, I'm not going to answer that. Because, you know, it's that thing where they to the uninitiated, they're not going to tell you that they worship Satan and that they like blood and that they want evil and that they're praying for Satan and that they want to create like they want to create like little demon spawns. You know what I mean? They want to have children and then abuse their children to create demon spawns so that they can go cause more trauma and corruption. That's like literally like what she kind of believes, but it's hard for her to pry that. You know, at first she makes it seem like, no, we're good. We're just nice. We're cool. The Church of Satan is hip. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then as you dig deeper and deeper, you realize, no, actually, they do believe in Satan. That's why they call themselves Satanists. And
I mean, I guess coming from a non-religious person too, I feel like any religious practice is magic technically in that same sense. Like,
right. But most magic is like, Christians' magic is like God fed the people. And Islam's magic is like God saved the people from like the invaders.
And praying and rituals are kind of the same thing, right? Like
no. Satan is just we prayed to Satan and then Satan killed all the people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like Christianity where it's like God gave water to the people, or the Jews where it's like God parted the sea and allowed everyone to escape free, and gave us our freedom, or like the Muslims where it's like God saved us from the invaders. You see how it's like saving and see how it's like good and helping women and children. Satanism is specifically the antithesis. It's all that's bad. We only want bad on earth.
The way that I really feel about this too.
Evil. You know what I mean? We don't want pleasure. We want pain and suffering.
Yeah. The way that I feel about this too, honestly, the thing that I think happened, and then I want to talk about Taco's most recent comment because I actually didn't see it, and I wanted to talk to him about it. But the way that I think, like the way that I see it, and I think probably where a majority of this shit comes from, is I feel like the thing with Satanism is like back when like punk rock and stuff was like coming around, it was like that one video said, like, it was like you were like the cool bad boy hipster if you like said I'm a Satanist. I feel like what happens nowadays, at least pretty frequently, and like I said, I've watched a lot about, I don't know shit about Satanism, but I know a ton about Richard Ramirez. And I feel like the thing that happens more frequently than not nowadays is that people kill somebody, or they say like, because he was a complete, like a certified sociopath and a psychopath.
They have evil thoughts. You don't have to say they kill people, but they have evil thoughts.
Yeah, sure. But like, I'm taking it to the extreme because the extreme is what makes it look the worst. So you have somebody like Richard Ramirez that has these crazy evil tendencies and says, I'm going to be a serial killer. And then his like immediately afterwards was like, oh, you know what would freak people out like crazy?
No, wrong. See, that's
you haven't looked into Richard Ramirez.
That's so just
you haven't looked into it though.
Like, but you're I guess what you're doing is you by saying that, like, what you're saying is you're saying that, like, okay, obviously he had tattoos of Satanism and he didn't
have tattoos of Satanism.
Well, that thing, like,
he wrote it with pen in court.
Okay, so he did
like
symbols.
I said, I've looked into this a lot.
He did body symbols on himself.
Yeah.
He didn't tattoo ink, but he had ink of himself on it. He inked his own body with symbols of Satanism. He put symbols of Satanism over all of his crimes. He talks about Satanism. He wrote about Satanism. They found Satanism stuff in his room. But you're saying that was all fake.
That was true.
It was all just fake.
I don't think
it was all just a mask.
But that's what I'm saying.
No. We read it in the Wikipedia. All that stuff was in the Wikipedia article.
I don't think it was.
No. I read it in the Wikipedia article.
All right, I'll go back and look at it, but I don't think so. Like I said, my thing was he started killing people before he was doing the Satanism stuff. That's my only thing. So I think a lot of people latch onto Satanism as an excuse.
But what you were see that thing about latch as an excuse. You're basically saying that he didn't actually believe in it at all, and then he never took any of the Satanist stuff seriously.
I'm not saying that he didn't take it.
You're discrediting it by saying that, like, he just did it as a cover. You said he did it as a mask.
What about people that murder people and then say Satan told me to do it?
Yeah.
You think they believe in Satanism?
Yes.
What about the 13-year-old girl that did that?
Yeah. I think that
Do you think she was a practicing Satanist? The 13-year-old girl that killed her best friend in the forest and then said Satan made me do it?
No. Not a practicing Satanist, because a practicing Satanist is like kind of like the Aleister Crowley thing. Like, you have to read the books. But yes.
Taco, I'm basically, the Slender Man one is the same thing, basically.
But if she's evil,
Yeah.
Yes, she's doing an evil act.
Yeah.
Because Satan told her to do it, it's evil. If Jesus told her to do it, it would have been good.
See, and I guess my thing is I don't believe in I don't believe in Jesus or Satan. I don't think Satan is telling people to go out and do it.
They do though. When they're doing it, they actually believe it. What you're saying is that they don't. That you're saying, or at least what you were trying to say with Richard Ramirez, is that a random girl kills a person and then lies and said, God told me. I'm lying. I don't actually believe this, but I'm going to lie and say God told me, or the devil told me I was supposed to do it.
Yeah.
I'm saying no, the devil probably did tell her to do it, or she thought the devil really was doing it. And when she said that she thought the devil told her to do it, she actually believed that the devil did tell her to do it. It seems like what you're trying to say is that she said that the devil told her to do it, but she doesn't actually believe that. She's just making that up.
I think with the Richard Ramirez thing, it's probably true. Yes.
I think that's a little disingenuous. And I think I think that's exactly what the documentaries do. And that was why I got so triggered, was because that whenever a serial killer or someone who's super evil is described, and then there's that there's obvious signs of Satanism in their practicing Satanism, they just go, oh, and they had like a thing about Satan. It's like, no, you need to go into that. That was a deep part of their personality. It's not just like this, like, oh, it's just like, oh, it's a fluke. He liked drawing dick pictures. He liked drawing. No, it's like, no, he read out this. If this dude was saying all this stuff and making all of his victims swear to Satan and making them draw pentagrams, before they died, he's probably, and he has Aleister Crowley books. He's probably actually not fit. Like, he probably believes in those things. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, I guess, like I said, it would just fall into a difference of opinion, because like I said, I think the big thing is like, because his whole thing too is that he wanted to be freaky. He wanted to be a freak. So like every time he went into court, he would smile at people.
Yeah. No, that's all about, that's Satanism. And Satanism is all about being a freak.
But he was like that before he was getting into the Satanism. So I think he just adapted him. Yeah. And then I think he was like, oh, I'm already doing this. I might as well just be like, oh, I'm a Satanist.
Yes, exactly.
But he was already doing it before he believed in the Satanism shit.
I agree with you though.
Yeah.
So I guess here's a big thing. Satanism didn't make him go that way. He was that way, and then he found Satanism.
Yeah,
but Satanism,
he would have done it with or without Satanism.
But Satanism those ideas. Satanism only reinforced those things. Just like if you were a good person, you're probably going to find Christianity, and then Christianity is going to reinforce those good acts that you do. My whole point here is that this guy was an evil man, and he didn't go out and find Judaism. Okay,
yeah,
he found Aleister Crowley's demonic Satanism, which talks about child sacrificing, which talks about putting people through pain, and you know what I mean? Like, it's not a good thing. Yeah. It's not the same. Like, it's not the same as any other religion. It's a different religion that people with bad tendencies who want to be evil are attracted to.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, my thought is I feel like a lot of people would just claim to be Satanists because it would freak people out. Like, I feel like a lot of people would do that. It's like the same thing. Why, like, I mean, you know, and that's like coming from somebody who doesn't believe in religion. I just feel like they would, Dersh, how do you join? Asking for a friend. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people would like claim to be a Satanist because it would get them like attention and they would seem like a crazy person. But that's just my personal thoughts on it.
That's
coming from somebody that doesn't believe in religion.
That's what a Satanist would say. Like a Satanist who like, doesn't want their religion to look bad, like, or a Muslim.
No, I feel like they want it to look worse.
No, a Muslim would say, let's say there's a Muslim terrorist who doesn't act due to Muslim terrorism. Yes. A Muslim would say, I don't think that person's a real Muslim. I think that they're just faking it and that they're just doing it to get attention and all that stuff. But I would say, no, look at that Muslim terrorist. They actually have Muslim signs all over their house. They talk about Muslim right before they die. They practice it. Like, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, and acts like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Yeah.
So if this Richard Ramirez guy was walking like a Satanist, talking like a Satanist, making all his victims do Satanism things as they were dying, he's probably a Satanist. He probably wasn't just making it up to make himself look boogeyman. Now, he was probably doing it because he was like, this makes me look like a boogeyman, and I like that. You see what I'm saying? Like, he wanted to look like a boogeyman. found Satanism, and Satanism is all about looking like a boogeyman. So he's like, perfect. It fits what I wanted to become. You know what I mean? This guy who wanted to be
I feel like we're saying the same thing just in two different ways.
But kind of, but the thing I'm getting at is that it seems like you're saying he didn't actually really wholeheartedly believe in it. Therefore, like, Satanists aren't bad. But what I'm just trying to really nail home, because I hate, not because I'm angry at you or not because I'm angry at chat, but because I'm angry at Satanism, and because I'm angry at people not taking Satanism seriously, is that, like, no, this guy really liked Satanism because he was a bad guy. And if you read, I'm telling you, dude, read Anton LaVey. Read it. It's real. He wrote it. He wrote it in 1960s and 70s. He's a bad guy. He said bad things. He had that wife, and she talked to Art Bell, and they had a child, and they believed that child was literally the spawn of Satan. They did rituals, and this kid lives. He's alive, and he thinks he's the spawn of Satan. They actually believe it. They don't just, they don't believe it. They just are kind of acting cool. It's like, no, dude, you press them on it. They believe this stuff. It's not just fake. Oh, no, dude.
See, I guess I just don't
read what they wrote themselves.
I guess I just don't see that being any worse than like the people who say that they're like I said, we were talking about the Elizabeth Smart thing earlier. Do you know much about Elizabeth Smart? So she got kidnapped by two, I believe they were Christian or Catholic zealots. And basically the guy thought that he was the son of Jesus and said that God talked to him in his sleep and told him to kidnap a little girl, and kidnapped her and raped her all in the name of God, and changed his name to a religious name and changed her name to Shir Jeshub. And his wife had a super religious name, and him and his wife both thought that they were the descendants of Jesus Christ.
But they thought they were doing good, right? They thought they were, by doing all those horrible acts, they thought they were doing good in the name of Christianity, right? Because that's the whole point of Christianity, is that you think you're doing the right thing. Like, even though they were doing these horrible things, they thought they were doing the right thing, right?
I don't know if they thought they were doing the right thing. They just were doing what they
thought. Okay, you're right.
They thought they were doing what their God
thing.
Yeah, they thought they were doing what God told them to do. Yes.
Okay. So I just want to emphasize this again, that when Satanists are told to do things by Satan, they're told to do evil things by the devil.
Yeah.
Okay? There's a difference. You keep trying to say, like,
I just don't see either one being worse than the other.
Because Satanism, so Christianity was so Satanism would not exist without Christianity. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay? So the evilness of Satanism would not exist if there was not such a thing as the goodness from Christianity, okay? So Christianity was created before Satanism. Christianity had what they believed are good things, holy things, right?
Yeah.
Then they had things that were viewed as sinful things. These sinful things, maybe to the people like my people in Germany, they didn't view many of these. They were like Lucifer worshipers. They didn't view many of these things as like evil. They thought like some of these things like my people were very much like the strong always wins, whereas Christians were like help the weak. So it's good to help the weak, but my people are like, no, if they're weak, you take them over because you're stronger than them. Okay, so there's a difference in goods, right? But the Christians had this idea of what they viewed as Christianly good, helping the weak, all this stuff, salvation, helping charity, all these things, right? Okay, Satanism is a response to Christianity, okay? All Satanism is the opposite of what Christianity, the opposite of Christian good, okay? It's just the opposite of Christian good. That's all Satanism is. In order to be a Satanist, you have to believe in Christianity first.
Yeah. I have a question on Taco's comment. He said but LaVey was atheist.
Yeah, that's what he'll tell you. That's what he'll tell you. And dude, I would love you to go watch the Art Bell show where Anton LaVey's wife talks to Anton LaVey, and they talk about how they're atheists, but then they talk about their rituals and magic and how they actually do work. And if the rituals and magic do work, who's using that magic? And it's not God. And then they get into the devil, and then it's weird again. And how Anton LaVey's son, he believes his own son is the spawn of the devil. So it's like weird thing where like they'll talk to you on the surface level. They'll tell you they're LGBTQ. They vote for Bernie. They vote for Bill Clinton. They're progressive. They love everybody. They're Black Lives Matter. They're atheists. They believe in science. Then the Satanists want you to get double jabbed and get boosted. And that's what they'll tell you. But if you actually read their books, and dude, I'm just telling you, read the book. Like I've read not the whole books, but I've read their quotes. You can actually read what they have to say. And when you actually when you get past the flyers and the pamphlets of like, hey, join our group, you actually have to get into what the Temple of Satan actually believes, and actually some of their interviews. And once they actually start getting pressed on some of this stuff, they get way more role-playing game. You know what I mean? They get way more LARPy. At first it seems like they're just atheists, Elon Musk, Burning Man guys, they believe in science. They don't believe in any religion. You know what I mean? They vote for Bernie. But then when you actually start to get into okay, what is actually Satanism actually about? It's way more role play. It's way more Baphomet and the ancient Sumerian texts and warships of the cedar plants in Moloch. And it's about the seven noble folds, and it's about the hidden meanings and all these symbols, and about the chakras and opening certain pathways within the eye. They get really LARPy and role play, and all that stuff about materialistic atheism goes out the window, because it's if they were materialistic atheists, they wouldn't call themselves Satanists. They'd call themselves physicists, right? They would call themselves physicists. They would call themselves scientists. But they don't, dude. They're crazy. They wear black. They wear pentagrams. They wear weird makeup. And most of them have those ones aren't even the ones I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Jeffrey Epstein types, where you look into what Jeffrey Epstein believed. Look at who Jeffrey Epstein was a science believer. Jeffrey Epstein probably would have told you to get your boosters, right? He's pro-LGBT, he voted for Bill Clinton, you know what I mean? But look into what that Temple of Solomon on his island represented, and what was the Temple of Solomon, and what did they do, and for how long did they do these children sacrifices in the Temple of Solomon, and what was the island used for, and why were there so many children brought out to the island, and why were all the children, you know what I mean? You start looking into it, man, and it's yeah, some of and look at the costumes that these guys are wearing. Look at the costumes that Ghislaine Maxwell's wearing. They're wearing stuff that's with goat heads and weird upside down signals, and the serpent. You see all these things that are in these religions, and why I get so triggered is because you see Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein worshiping these clear symbols of Baphomet, and you can see the clear lineage from Baphomet up to Satan, and through the Talmud and throughout history, and who's worshiping it and where they worship it, and who's worshiping it today, and how the genes are the same, and how it's all very real, and they're showing you their symbols. And then you got people coming in and saying, oh, well, it's just a little silly thing, and it's not really too important, and I would just overlook it. They're probably just faking it, even if they did believe it, they probably just fake believed in it. You know what I mean? It's no, you're totally discrediting this sick, evil, twisted side of these people, and about this crazy ideology. And it's a lot more prevalent than you would think. There's way more evil people in really important positions of power. I was linking a post about it recently, about how Amber Heard was the reason why Amber Heard is so famous is not because she's a great actress. It's because she was supposedly
she sold her soul to Satan.
Essentially, yeah, she would dress up as Satan at these. Elon would bring her to parties, and she was great in bed. She was essentially a super dominatrix. And what would happen is she was willing to go to these parties, and she would dress up with her and other groups of girls that were all paid to do this. And there's tons of pictures of them at crazy Satanist party where they have the double triangle, right? The double triangle. You have that double triangle, and you have all these goat heads, and she's wearing goat head masks, and she's being surrounded by gimps. And it's all they're just faking it, dude. They don't actually believe in it. It's no, you're discrediting it, dude. There's so much going on there, and they actually do believe in this stuff. And even if they aren't actually sacrificing kids now, and they're just pretending to sacrifice kids, it's still really important to focus on that and call them out on it. It's time to start calling out these Satanists, man, and stop saying that it's panic. It's real. It's going around, and it's going to your children. Your children are looking at it.
Chop said this.
All right, dude, I'm done.
Chop said this is giving me diarrhea. And then you said Amber Heard, and he said, speaking of diarrhea. Yeah. Was hers a diarrhea or a solid turd though?
I think it was a solid turd.
I thought so too. I thought it was a log on the pillow, but who knows? Oh, that's Chop brought up a funny one. Not about. Oh, and yeah, he said something about fucking kids, and he said, "You mean maps? Have you heard of maps? You're not allowed to say the P word anymore. The Chris Hansen, the P word.
Well, maybe.
So you say maps are it's the new like politically correct term, and they're minor attracted persons.
Oh right.
You're not allowed to say taco spelled it the British way.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're not allowed to say that anymore. You
that should be how it is, man.
You have to call them minor attracted persons. Yeah, Chop fucking sent me that video earlier. It's
Jeffrey
like a
Epstein's
weird.
all about it, man. He's talking about it.
Yeah.
And he's all about Aleister Crowley and Anton LaVey, and he's got the Temple of Demons. It's all there, man.
Minor attracted persons is one of those ones too that like came up recently. It's like a year old.
No, but they're just silly trolls, dude. They just troll the Westboro Baptist Church. They're like cool and they vote for Bernie, man. Like, give them a break.
Maps?
No, the Satanists. And the truth is most
I
of them
think
really are.
maps.
Most of them are totally like normal. Most of them are just like they're not evil like that. But then there's ones like Jeffrey Epstein where it's like those ones are believing in Baphomet. They're talking about it. You have the Bohemian Grove. That's where it's like that's where I get triggered. The people who are wearing black and they like
Aren't the Bohemian Groves? Isn't that all just presidents, or isn't it all presidents that are part of that?
Yeah. Well, no, it's not presidents. It's specifically Richard Nixon said what it was. He said it was a bunch of Republicans from the West Coast who are all closeted homosexuals go up there and they get crazy. And it all has to do with, and there's
Are they not presidents though? Doesn't
some presidents, but
Bush
also
go?
just the Bushes went,
Yeah.
but a bunch of different people have been.
Gotcha.
But Richard Nixon said very famously, it was the most effiest thing I've ever been to.
It's starting to seem like this is the way that you do that and then gain power, and I'm starting to get more and more into it the more you talk about it.
Well, there is an element of like where they like to force people into compromised situations where they can then blackmail you. Like, I have you in a compromised position, so now you pretty much like if the ship goes down, like you have to go down with the ship because or else we'll show all this dirty laundry. So that's essentially what the Epsteins was that basically they like all that dirty laundry was like, so hey, you have to do this, and if you don't do this, then we're gonna let everyone know that you were on Jeffrey Epstein's like.
But it seems like a lot of people become Satanists, like you're saying, and then become famous, or is it the opposite? You become famous and then become a Satanist. Because it seems you said Amber Heard got famous because she's a Satanist, right?
Honestly, dude, I think that's where it gets really like deep into like, is Satanism real? I think it is something like you definitely, it's like a vampire, right? I think you go looking for it. And if you're really good and if you're the best, like it's that thing, you make a deal with the devil, right? And if you are willing to make a full deal with the devil, the bigger the deal, like the bigger the chunk of your soul you're willing to get, the more famous I will make you. And so I think a lot of those people who are really celebrities or sell their souls, so to speak, sort of like are in a way, I don't know who they're selling it to, but they're selling it to some sort of purpose, and he's giving them rewards.
Talker said that's why I think Hellraiser is a good depiction of Satanism, though. I've never seen Hellraiser, but maybe you have. Because it's about indulging in the things that are considered bad by religion or societal norms.
Yeah, exactly. That's all. It's about a hell raising. It's about hell raising. That's what Satanism is. It's about raising hell. It's about.
Is Hellraiser the guy with the needles, the pins in his?
I'm not sure. But it's about bringing hell to earth.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
This guy. Never seen the movie, but I think the modern making a deal with the devil is how famous people exploit themselves and their lives for money and fame and all that. So I agree with you on that.
But like, I actually think that there might actually be like a devil. Like, you actually might be like selling your soul to like the devil. Like, he actually might be like. Cenobite?
Is this the needle people that I was just talking about? It's got a few different things.
Going to the whatever.
The fandom?
Yeah, I've never seen. He's saying we're missing out. Oh, man. Anyway, sorry, I didn't want to get triggered about Satanism, dude.
They're demons.
Oh, man.
Demons, angels. It's these guys.
What does it say they name? Oh, whatever.
I don't know. I was showing the picture first.
Extra-dimensional beings who are mutilated and brainwashed into torturing humans for all eternity into a labyrinth. See, that's what I think, dude. I think that's all that hell is that hell is just like these interdimensional beings that basically they suck off our loosh. So our psychic fear, like have you ever seen Monsters Inc?
Yeah.
That's perfect example. So, I hate to break everyone's like childhood, but Monsters Inc. is just like it has
Satanism.
Yeah, and it's Satanism, pedophilia, and Jeffrey Epstein. So
What?
Yeah. So the whole point.
Explain this one.
So you explain what Monsters Inc. is. Like, what is the whole incorporation? Which is Monsters Inc. Also, it's a play on words on Murder Inc. But anyways, tell it.
Like what?
What is the industry? What do they do?
Harvest Screams.
Okay, but more specifically, what do they do? First of all, they do an act and explain how the act happens. So
They
you have these
scare
people. Who are they?
The monsters.
Monsters.
Yeah.
So the monsters scare
People.
No. They're only scaring
What, kids?
children. They only scare children in the movie. If you remember, they go into children's rooms,
Mm-hmm.
they come out of their closets, and they scare children.
I mean, I'll dispute that. They do start. You can't even disagree with this point because in the beginning of the movie, they do not start by scaring kids.
Well, Taco Man's just saying they scare kids for energy. I mean,
they scare kids. They end up scaring kids. They scare kids because it gave them more scream.
More loosh.
Yeah.
More energy.
But it started off with them scaring it. The corporation was to scare, just to get screams.
Okay.
Then it switched to scaring
So
kids.
you can call it loosh or psychic fear or adrenochrome, right? It's
Okay.
loosh it's like an old school word. the archons, who are interdimensional beings, come down and they basically make us suffer because our suffering is like an energy source that they vampirically, like, they suck off of our suffering and our fear, and then it's called loosh. And so that's like an old Greek thing, right? Like it's an old so Monsters Inc. So you're right. So you're kind of right in a way. That the interdimensional beings at first figured out, the monster and vampires.
Top, I knew you were going to chime in.
They
for
figured
that.
out that we could scare people and gain their loosh off of their psychic trauma. So we're going to create this farm. We're going to create this farm of cattle and then psychically trauma them because we gain energy. Or it's a fuel source from us, right? Like we get more loosh. And then they figured out that if they scare children, they get that more. It's even more corrupt. You know what I mean? It's even more evil. You even get more energy from it. More loosh, right? So that they're extra evil because they're going after that. If you look into like the
So
deep,
how does this play into pedophilia?
because if you look into specifically not MAPs, okay? Because an MAP is a person with an illness, okay? Jeffrey Epstein was not an MAP. He was not a person who had an illness. He was a Baphomet worshiper who believed that if you wanted to have good sex, the best sex was sex where you could get pain and where you can get that energy off of their suffering. And who suffers more than anyone else? That's the whole point of their religion. If you look into Baphomet worship and why they sacrificed children and they did all the sex worship to children rather than adults, it was because there was more screaming, there was more loosh, there was more of that psychic fear, more horrible Satanism, more evil on earth that you could create if you did it to the children.
I thought it was because kids were pure. I thought that's why people sacrifice kids.
Well, I mean, that's part of it too, because you get to take away that purity too.
Gotcha.
And then they can go and become corrupt as well. But I mean, obviously it's because they scream louder. Obviously. Right? I mean,
I'm just confused on how Monsters Inc. ties into this.
because Monsters Inc. is literally...
Yeah, Chop said you had me for a second, but you're
because
losing me now.
Monsters Inc. is literally about... I mean, that's so crazy that it hasn't clicked for you a bit. Monsters Inc. Monsters, MAPs, sneak into children's rooms and then scare them. What do you think that means? And then the more scaring they get, the more they're rewarded from it. And there's very specific things, like you can go into it like throughout the movie. Like there's YouTube videos on it where like there's a bunch of like little NAMBLA references where it's like, you know what I mean? Like little like cute little references where, what's her name again?
Taka said, but then they changed to not scaring them by the end.
Right, but like the baby girl and the lizard is the bad guy, right? Like the lizard's the bad guy who's like involved and trying to create this whole thing, and he's taking it over. He's the Jeffrey Epstein. But the point is that the whole industry is like that's what that's about. Is that it's about that loose jacking, and it's about like the satanic aspect of it. Of that's why all these people are monsters. They're supposed to be humans, but they're monsters. Why are they monsters? Because they're MAPs.
So then why did you said Randall? Into it, like, Boo Randall.
What's the thing with who's the little girl's name? But you look into
Boo?
Yeah, so Boo. So dude, there's so much. There's so if you just watch some YouTube videos, there is some sick, disgusting stuff in that movie. Like super subliminal. Like how I mean, if you guys are gonna say that, oh, like that's no way Disney and Pixar would never put subliminal imaging into their children's movies. Like if you're really gonna
I'm not gonna say they don't put subliminal messages in their movies. Dude, I'm just saying that seems like a stretch connection to me.
Okay, so a movie about monsters who go in a room and scare children and then steal their energy, and like that doesn't sound anything like.
But then at the end, why would it switch?
AKA, well,
it switches to where happiness.
Yeah, because what do the maps figure out? Like, what does every map want? Like at the end of the day, every map wants to not be attracted to children, right? So the two
do they?
Yes, that's the dude. I promise you, every single map. That the number one thing, if they're truly like inflicted with the illness, like not the Satanism part of it, like they're inflicted with the illness, they don't want to have that attraction. It's like it's the same on. I like not to get too like crazy with the homosexuality, but if you ask like Peter Buttigieg was very famously, he said,
oh, I know the name, but I don't know who he is.
He's like he's a gay politician, and he very famously said, if there's anything I could ever do, and he's super pro gay, right? He's like super pro gay marriage. He's like, if there's anything in the world, I wish I could be straight. You know what I mean? Because like you wish you could be just normal. You wish you didn't have to have that weirdness. Like, yeah, people who are maps, they want so bad not to be the AP part. They wish so like that idea of like you're like, well, they're super happy at the end because they got out of the industry. It's like, yeah, they no longer have the AP part.
Well, they didn't get out of the industry. They changed the industry to where they make, because they figured out that laughter gives their business more power. So then they hire stand-up comedians to go into the rooms.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then they make people laugh.
Yeah. Which is ultimately at the end, it's a good message. But like the whole point is like, think about what that industry is. I mean, it sounds crazy that you can't see like. There's monsters, okay? These people are monsters.
I mean,
they go into children's rooms to in the middle of the night when they're alone, when they make sure never let the parent see you, right? That's a huge thing. If the parent sees you, it's a big no-no. It's like at the very beginning of the movie, like a parent walks in and they're like, oh, look, you got caught by the parent sneaking into the child's room, you monster. What do you think that represents, dude? They're there to scare the child. And the more you scare them, the more you get that beautiful fear. Oh, it feels so good when they get all that fear. They suck on it, bro. They huff the fear that comes out of those canisters. What do you think that represents, man? You know what that represents. You're just hiding.
No, I mean, I don't know. I don't see it, but
yeah. How do you think? What's the best way to scare a kid?
To jump out and scare them?
Come on, dude.
That's what they do in Monsters Inc. I'm confused on what you're asking. The best way to scare a monster. That is not gonna scare anybody.
He will forever remember that, and that will ruin his entire life.
That's how you
traumatize a kid.
That's how you cause trauma, but that's not how you scare somebody.
That's what Monsters Inc. is all about. It's about causing the most amount of trauma, and you canister up all that trauma. It's loosh. That's what it is.
I don't know.
I can't just go. There's tons of videos on it, and it's been
Yeah, I feel like it's like. I don't know. I feel like you could make a lot of those connections with a ton of movies. I just don't see the connection, but I could be wrong.
It's like you're the same dude who's like Chop didn't see. You don't see the connection either, Chop.
It was either Chop or Taco. One of them said they didn't see.
If you guys don't see the connection between monsters.
Yeah, Taco said that's
an organized group of monsters coming in. Okay, and also, especially when you look at all the NAMBLA references in the movies, like literally the symbol is all over the movie.
Isn't the symbol just a butterfly?
There's like multiple different symbols. There's the butterflies. Gotcha. There's also the one where an adult person is holding a young child's hand. You know what I mean? And it's like the way they're holding the way they're holding hands, you know what I mean? It's like they're equals or whatever. It's like one's teaching the other. It's like there's a lot of that stuff in the movie. I'm just saying, dude. And there's a lot of references. There's a lot of weird, like even the guy's name, Winowski or whatever. It's just like, I don't know, dude. It just seems there's a lot of weird stuff, dude. I didn't come up. This is not my idea. It's like you're the same people who say that like the Dan Schneider, you know Dan Schneider with Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Like you guys probably think that's a reach.
No, that stuff was like overtly weird.
Yeah, I'm glad we can finally agree on that. Well, he's super worshipped all the Baphomet stuff and stuff too.
Yeah, I would say that the stuff that he did was overtly weird, but I just think the Monsters Inc. one was a stretch. Yeah, Dan was definitely a weirdo.
Well, that's great because Dan's also like, he also has like Aleister Crowley stuff and like weird, Nambla stuff. So, so you guys kind of agree with me. At least we have one person that we agree with. Like there is some people who have some weird, they're worshiping, Dan Schneider, Jeffrey Epstein, there's all these people who worship the Talmud, they grew up worshiping the Talmud.
Is he worshiping Baphomet or is he worshiping feet?
He's worshiping feet because he worships Baphomet.
Just because he's a map doesn't mean it's because of Satanism.
But it's weird how all these maps are also Satanists, huh? It's like
and then he said the Satanism just promotes that they should indulge in their guilty pleasures.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
I don't think that Satanism makes them go that way. I think that
that's what I was saying from the beginning.
If it seems like I'm trying to say that Satanism is causing them to be that way,
I thought that's what you were saying.
Unfair for me to say. That's definitely not what I would not make that. But what I'm saying is that, or a little bit is that maybe they had those tendencies, and then because they had those tendencies, they found Satanism.
And that's what I was trying to get you to agree with on the Richard Ramirez thing. And it seemed like you were saying that Satanism made him that way.
But see, what I was getting angry at is that when I'm a good person and I want to go out and I have tendencies of goodness and kindness, I'm probably gonna go out and find Christianity or Hinduism or Buddhism. I'm not gonna go out and find Satanism, which worships child sacrifice and pain to other individuals. You see what I'm saying? Like it sounded like, I guess what I was getting ticked at is like you were like, I don't see the difference between like people killing people and saying they're doing it for Satan and then people killing people and saying they're doing it for God.
I was just saying that they're both as bad. A murder's a murder.
I'm saying definitely one's worse than the other because one group of people are trying to do goodness and they're just doing it wrong. But the other people are literally purposely doing bad and they know they're doing bad and they want other people to do bad too. It's like...
Which is what they think is good, right?
Like
they're doing it because they...
No.
But listen to what I'm saying.
They're doing it because they know it's bad.
Which is what they want to do.
No. Yes, they want to do it, but that doesn't mean they think it's good.
But I'm saying that's like their end goal.
They know what's good.
Yeah.
They want to do what's bad.
For sure, but that's their end goal. They're doing it because that's what they think they should be doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Whereas the good people are doing good because they think it's good. The bad people are doing bad because they think it's bad.
They don't think they should be doing it. They're doing it because they can do it. And they know they're not supposed to do it. And so that extra feeling of like, they know they're not supposed to do it, but they can do it, that gives them that freedom and it gives them that extra pleasure. They don't think they should be doing it. They know they're not supposed to be doing it. If they thought they would be doing it, it wouldn't feel as good. The whole point is to be doing something that you know you're not supposed to do because that feels really good.
I mean, is there anything really that wrong with doing things that make you feel good that are
Wait, say that again?
So is there anything really that's that wrong though with doing things that make you feel good?
Yeah.
There's something wrong with that?
Yeah. Like if you were to harm other people.
For your
own pleasure.
For
that's
sure.
Bad.
Yeah, obviously that's bad.
No. But Satanists believe that's bad. They know that's bad because they come from the Christian tradition. They just do it because they know it's bad.
For sure. But there's also pleasures that you can indulge in that are.
How do you co-sign that? Because it sounded like you were co-signing that.
I'm saying that
you were saying, I don't see how that's different from Christianity. Like they know they're doing bad.
No, I'm saying that there are other things that you can indulge in. Indulgence is the key to unhappiness. See, also my thing is there's things that you can indulge in that are against Christianity that feel good and that you're indulging in these pleasures that Christianity would disagree with, but they're still not like the worst things in the world.
True.
Like Christianity thinks that premarital sex is bad and that masturbation is bad. Those are indulging in things that Satanism would probably be like, oh yeah, those are fine.
No. Satanism would say those things are bad, so do them.
Yeah.
Because it's good. It feels good to do bad things. I think that's like a real big distinction. Is like they.
I just say do whatever the fuck you want as long as you don't hurt anybody else. Do whatever the fuck you want, bad or good.
Okay, but you have to it's so fun. Like I'm trying. You realize you keep discrediting because I'm trying to tell you that like Satanism is bad, and you just keep saying like I just don't get like as long as you're not hurting anybody else. Do you understand that Satanists want to hurt other people? That's the whole. Okay. That's all. And
I'm not even talking about Satanism anymore.
It seems like you're okay. It seemed like you were trying to say I think Satanists just want to just have fun as long as they're not hurting other people. And it's like, that's what they're going to tell you. That's what Anton LaVey is going to tell you in his first sentence to you. He's going to be like, as long as you're not doing anything too crazy, do whatever you want. But then when you get into it, it's like, they're doing crazy stuff, dude. They are hurting people. They are doing evil things. They are purposely like, you know what I mean? And it's not all Satanism is equal, and not all acts of evil are equal either. There's some acts of evil that are way worse than other. A lot of Satanists are killing goats and worshiping Barbie dolls. It's not really that bad. It's really not that bad, I guess. You know what I mean? But
Taco said, Satanism says those are worldly desires and we're just animals, so don't waste your time following religion when you can have a better life by just doing what you want instead of being scared of what society or Christianity says is bad.
Yeah, kind of, pretty much, kind of. I mean, kind of, pretty much, kind of. I pretty much agree with that, actually. But
Chop said, yeah.
But it is still Christian-based.
He said, yeah, but that's cool and all, but realistically, a UFC fighter is a better fighter than a boxer, so I do agree with that still, to this day.
No, I think I agree with that, too.
Oh, we convinced him.
No, you never even did. I just didn't even actually believe that. I wanted to argue, so I was just taking the side of the boxer because I knew nobody else was going to take the side of the boxer.
Nobody takes the fucking side of the goddamn boxer.
I was making up my own opinions on the spot, though.
Nobody wants to fucking take the side of the goddamn boxer.
Here's the thing, man. Maybe I got a little triggered by Satanism because I'm like super like,
anti-Satanism.
I'm very or no, it's not even that I'm anti-Satanism, although if you had to put my feet to the fire, I probably am anti-Satanism. I'm actually probably more Satanist than you are.
So then what is your big gripe with Satanism?
Like that's the thing I was like about earlier. I was like, Lucifer, there's a lot of stuff that Lucifer says that's like, oh dude, Lucifer was actually probably pretty cool. Like I think I can pretty confidently say that like there's a lot
I'm so confused on how you hate Satanism.
There's a lot of Lucifer worship that's actually like, dude, that dude was making points, right? Like I'm not a full-on Christian. But what I want people to get at is Satanism is not a joke. When people are talking about Aleister Crowley and they're talking about Satanism, don't just flip in it. Like, that's my thing. Is like,
see, what if my thought though is that all religion is a joke?
Here's my other thing. Yes, that is kind of what you do. Because it's not about Satanism. It's not about religion. Well, it is. It's about Satanism. It's about religion. And it's about symbols.
Yeah.
It's about all of them. When people talk about their religion or their Satanism or their symbols, take it more seriously. Press them to the fire because they believe some crazy stuff, and don't just be like, oh well, it's probably like just silly. Like, no, dude, they're crazy. They're psycho. They believe some scary things.
Yeah, I guess that's what Satanism is about, is that all religion is a joke. Yeah, see, that's my thing, is that I think all religions are like just equally a joke.
But it's not, because that's okay. It is kind of, but then the problem is that their religion of Satanism, they take it really seriously.
All religions take themselves seriously, right?
They don't. Yes.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is that they will tell you on the surface level.
No, dude, Satanism is about going against the norm. It's not about doing bad shit that Christianity says is bad.
That was so loud.
What do you mean by the norm? Like, who created the norm?
Society.
But what society? We're talking about. No, we're talking about
whether you're Christian or not. No, because listen, whether you're Christian or not, there's things that we all agree is good or bad. Like we say, even without Christianity, we say killing someone is bad, right? Like you should not murder Jalen because he thinks that Satanism is different from what you think. Right?
Not necessarily true, because we got into this earlier where we were talking about protect the weak, and the Aryan belief or the Northern German belief is that the strong only survive. So there are many different.
And that's what Satanism is. Satanism says the same thing. Satanism is that we are all just fucking animals on
flesh bags.
We are all animals with carnal desires. Okay, like a dog. If a male dog sees another female dog in heat, he's not gonna be like, "Damn, that would be totally messed up if I fucked her right now. Like I shouldn't do that." No, the dog's gonna go and try and mate with the female dog, right?
But don't you think that Christianity, don't you think that Christianity created a lot of those sort of like sins? Like I think a lot of the things that we call desires were actually originally just viewed as Christian sins, because the East has different things that they view as desires that we wouldn't view as desires. I think it's all in the Baha'is of the religion. I think it's absurd, and it's actually it's historically inaccurate, and it's a little unfair for you to come in here and say Satanism did not come out of Christianity. That's like saying Christianity is not an offshoot of Judaism.
That's like saying though that every human virtue is Christianity. Jalen, like, would you ever go just fucking punch a homeless person on the street?
No. But we're talking about
did you learn that
Satanism.
from Christianity? Did you learn that from Christianity? Oh, you didn't learn from Christianity? You're not supposed to punch homeless people on the street?
No. But we're talking
You didn't learn that from Christianity?
No. But we're talking about Satanism. Satanism was specifically Satanism is you know what I mean? Satanism came out of Christianity. That's all I was trying to say. Satanism came out of Christianity. Therefore, it is a reaction to Christianity. It's a reaction to Christianity's morals. It's not like I think what you were trying to, or at least what I was hearing from you, is that Satanism and Christianity don't have anything to do with each other. But I just want to kind of reemphasize that no, Satanism actually did come out of Christianity, right? It was a response to Christianity. Yeah,
but not specifically just Christianity. It's just religion. It
was only Christianity. Islam has its own Satanism that's not called Satanism. It has to do with it's kind of Sufism, but it's not really Sufism.
So you saying like the Sufis, they tell people to go eat pork because Islam says you shouldn't eat pork, so you need to go eat pork.
They have their own demon, and
so you go eat pork to piss off the rest of the Muslims, right? Is that what that's about?
Yeah. So the jinns do things that Islam views as evil, and the devils do things that Christians view as evil. But you'd actually be surprised, like some of the things that the jinn do, like you wouldn't view as evil in Christianity. Satanism is specifically a Western Christian. It's not, you know what I mean? It's not like Satanism was created in Asia, and there's not like Asians are Satanists. You have to believe in Christianity to believe in Satanism, because if you don't believe in, because that's the thing, is like I know you believe that, and I know you really do believe that, and I know we will find quotes where Anton LaVey says he's an atheist and he doesn't believe in God, and he doesn't believe in the Christian God, and he doesn't believe in the devil. But I'm telling you, dude, when you get deeper into it, you start to see that they have these rituals, and who are these rituals for? These rituals are for a demon. Who is this demon if they're atheists? Well, the demon is an enemy of Jesus. Well, what the hell? I thought you didn't believe in Jesus. Well, actually, you get into it, dude, and it's like they role play a lot. They're not materialist atheists who just believe in science. There's a lot of LARP role playing where they talk about Baphomet. They have all these symbols, and all I'm trying to say is that these symbols, dude, I'm a big symbol guy. I see them symbols. I see them talking about their symbols. Think like for Jeffrey Epstein to create a Temple of Solomon on his island, he had to pay so much money. It's not like he was just like, oh, I saw a cool little thing on Etsy and decided to build a whole temple. No, dude, he read books. He studied. He did rituals. He had his own altar. He had a version of Solomon's temple before he built it. They're deep into this stuff, and to discredit it and just be like, oh, well, maybe there's some devil stuff that's on there. Like maybe they have some devil tattoos and maybe they have some devil talk, but it's all just kind of fake, and just don't really it's not a really big deal. I just get really butthurt about it, and I'm like, no, dude, the symbols are real, and there's a lot of crazy people out there that have crazy beliefs, and you can obviously see when Dan Schneider has a photo feet symbols all over all of his stuff. It's like he's putting it out there. When you have people putting goat symbols all over their stuff, they're putting it out there. That's all I'm saying. Oh, dude, I gotta. Yeah, sorry. I apologize to everyone. I didn't want to talk about this. I didn't want to talk about the devil. I don't know why we talked about the devil, but I guess I'm a fucking white knight crusader, dude.
All right, so let's do
big Christian guy.
Let's start a reading club. First book we're doing on the list is the fucking Satanic Bible, and then we're coming back next week to talk about this.
Yeah, I saw that message earlier. I like that idea.
Let's do it. It's just under 300 pages.
Jesus, dude,
oh, that's
I don't
easy.
think I could do that.
That's easy.
Oh, get the audiobook then.
I can find
Imagine an
there's
audiobook about
interviews of them
Satanism.
talking. There's interviews of them talking and stuff, and those are shorter. I'll just do 10-minute videos of Anton LaVey talking, 10-minute videos of his
It's not
wife.
the same as the book.
Of his
though.
wife talking.
Yeah, it's not the same as the book,
but I mean, you
'cause the
kind of
book
get
is
it.
for your
They talk about how
interpretation
they talk about how they
versus
have sex and how they have sex rituals and how they're trying to spawn this
We
literally
need
the
the
seed
book,
of Satan.
though. We need the book. I agree with Taco. We're gonna get the book.
we
We're gonna read it, and we're gonna talk about it on the
source
book club.
material, man. Because that's like the Sunni and Shia in Islam, right? Like it's the way they interpret the Quran, right?
It is a
And
little.
really
I mean, there
prophet
is a
and
little
who's
bit in
really
the terms
God.
of. There is a little bit in the terms of how they like. Yes, you're right. I'm not gonna pin down a Satanist. However, I will say that generally speaking, they believe in evil. They believe in like they are the opposite of Christianity,
No,
right?
they believe in like going against societal norms.
No,
not
going
evil.
against Christian norms.
Going against societal norms,
Which
That's why,
just
like,
happens to be Christian. What happens when Satanism is the societal norm? They're not gonna go. Satanism isn't gonna go against. You see what I'm saying? They're just going
Well, that's
against.
that's what LaVey thinks. So he says at one point society will evolve to a point where these like Christian and religious ideals will no longer be ruling. The ruling people will be those that follow Satanism and agree to indulge in whatever they want. Like, you know, like you see it now, even today, like sexuality and sex was
Yep.
super taboo back in like the 70s, 80s, right? But nowadays, like literally, you got fucking 14-year-olds on TikTok talking about eating assholes, right? Like
because
that's just normal.
because all the programmers of the companies that are being made they're all Satanists, dude. You look into it, all these people that are creating all these things and the people that are creating
it's
our
about
culture, they all
breaking those
believe in this
societal
Baphomet
norms,
stuff,
right?
and you can it's about breaking these societal norms, and you're seeing all these symbols, and these symbols are old, dude. You're seeing these ancient symbols, and you're like, and for you to be like, these symbols, they're clearly worshiping Baphomet. For you to say that they don't believe in Baphomet, you're gaslighting me. If they're running around with these symbols of Baphomet, and you can clearly see these symbols of Baphomet, and we know what Baphomet represents. If you're saying they don't believe in Baphomet and that they're just probably like, it's just a giggle, you know, like, so what? They just thought their tattoo was cool. You're gaslighting me. I'm sorry, but you look at it, dude. These people believe this stuff. They're looking into it. It's real. They're like. They believe
But
this
Baphomet
stuff.
was
They're taking it
related to the
seriously.
Crusaders, right?
I mean, Baphomet was just like, no, Baphomet's kind of like really old. But yeah, the Knights Templar they brought back some temple. So the Knights Templar brought back some old Hebrew. So basically the Jews in the Middle East worship Baphomet. The Knights Templar, who were Christian, went to the Middle East. They found the Holy Grail, the Ark of the Covenant, and many other ancient Hebrew secrets. And so one of those secrets were they started worshiping this thing that was Baphomet.
All right,
Well,
guys,
that's
I gotta
where it
go to
came
bed.
from, was not from Satanism.
No, but the church said it was Satan.
All right. Well, I'm ordering this book right now
All right,
on
dude.
Amazon. I'll
Sick.
order one. I'll order a
What a
copy to your
disaster.
guys' house.
Yeah, send me the link in Discord.
I'll order
I'll
you
just
a
do a
copy.
PDF. You
Oh,
don't
yeah,
have to
you could do a
order me copy.
PDF or an ebook too.
No, dude, you gotta.
I
have
bet
the
you can
physical
pirate
copy
it.
Physical
in your
copy would
house.
be sick.
I do
Yeah,
not
think
want a
about it.
physical
Go
copy
read
of the
that shit
Temple
in
of Satan
public.
in our house.
I would love
I'm
one.
sorry, that's why I got all triggered, dude, is because like I really do believe in this stuff, and like I do not want any devil shit in
I have
this
a
house.
Ouija
dude.
board planchette in this office for
That's
fuck's
okay.
sake.
The Ouija board's somewhat fine, but the straight up Church of Satan
It's
Anton
literally
LaVey.
Satanism.
No, it is a little. It
Ouija
it
board
kind
is
of huh?
way freakier than a book.
I think the Ouija
book
board is
isn't a
just summoning
portal.
Ace. It's just summoning
Alright.
a interdimensional demon.
Do you guys have a DVD
Fair enough,
player or
okay.
Blu-ray?
Yeah, I do.
All right, I'm gonna get you the Satanic Bible and Hellraiser
Sick.
remastered on Blu-ray.
Fire.
Just
All
make
right.
sure that this stream will never talk about Satan again.
I'm gonna go to bed. I stayed up 30 minutes past when I wanted to go to sleep.
It's barely 11:30, you pussy.
Good
I
night,
gotta wake
everyone.
up at 5:30,
we
brother.
apologize for
Yeah, I
this.
gotta wake up at
this
4:30.
railroad track.
Well-
I
I'm an hour ahead
apologize
of you.
deeply.
Well,
Thank you
why'd
guys
you
for
do
tuning
that?
in, if you even
Because
did.
I love you.
Why'd you stay up so late then?
To fuck with Austin.
Hey. Well, you gotta go sleepy boy if
See,
you
that
gotta wake up
is
at
that
4:30.
same thing, though.
The compass thing.
Also, Anton.
Oh, it's on Prime Video. You
No,
guys
no,
can
it's
just
not.
watch Hellraiser.
Oh,
Have you guys not seen
Sick.
Hellraiser before?
I don't know. I just never
Jeez,
seen
that's
it.
like classic 80s horror.
I knew like what he looked like, so I've like, I know of the movie, but I've never seen it. But
they get a little less, like I said, after the first one though. Clive Barker wasn't like directly involved in the creative direction.
Gotcha.
But
Well, I'll
there's like
watch
a
the
whole
first one.
comic book series and everything too that kind of goes into it. In the Cenobites, they embody human indulgence, right? And basically the Cenobites they're driven by pain because pain is pleasure to them.
Exactly, dude. That's what I'm all about.
Pain.
Dude, keep sending me this shit. Look, we're gonna me and you, Taco Man. Jalen's got to go to bed, and like me and you will continue this conversation, not tonight, but like tonight through text on Discord, and send me more links, and tomorrow too. We'll keep it going. But
too. I gotta wake up in 4
no, yeah, I gotta go.
He's gotta wake up.
But just
early.
send me text tomorrow. Send Cenobite stuff. Send Hellraiser stuff. I'll look at.
And
I love
we're
all
gonna
that
get this
shit.
book.
I love, because I view myself as like a little white knight crusader trying to fight these little hiding crypto. They hide. All these Satanists, they hide their Satanism in all these symbols. And so I'm just really stickler to it. So that's
Alex,
why I apologize,
Alex
everyone. I
Jones
apologize.
Jr.
It's not going to happen. No more Satanism talk. We could talk about fun things, but I don't like Satanism.
We're picking up
Good
the
night,
Satanism
everyone.
conversation this weekend when we stream again, guys. Just so you know, be here, get ready to rock and roll. I'm gonna do a deep dive into the book, and then we're gonna come back and rediscuss.
And I'll probably be all wrong though afterwards. So.
That's why I need the book. I need facts. I'm gonna highlight it and have it sitting on the table and be able to all pull quotes. But yeah, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for stopping in. We appreciate you. As always, remember to check us out on all our other socials. Remember to check us out on our YouTube channel. Remember to check us out on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. All at 2 Fucking Dudes. We appreciate you so much. Make sure you join the Discord. All the links for those are in the chat. Discord is where we drop a majority of our daily communication. We appreciate you so much. We love you. Take care. We'll see you on the next stream. Adios.